Good evening from Hudson, Wisconsin. We are at Raiders Stadium on homecoming night here in Hudson as the Raiders host the Rice Lake Warriors. A very pleasant and warm, I'll call it hot evening here in Hudson. Certainly not the first day of fall weather-wise. As always, I'm alongside John Weck, and my name is Joe Moore, and welcome to the Hudson Raiders. Week number 6 already of the football season, week 4 of the Big Rivers Conference. Raiders come in 2-1 in the conference, trying to chase down these Rice Lake Warriors who have been absolutely phenomenal so far this season, John.
Well, they have coming in. We've been talking about this, the prowess of which they have been able to accumulate this 5-0 record. They've outscored their opponents, and this includes one forfeit win in week number 2 against the New Richmond team that had a mass outbreak of illness and couldn't make the game and ended up having to forfeit. But so including that in, they've outscored their opponents 177-6. Now let me repeat that in case you think you heard me wrong. 177. They put up 177 points. They've only allowed 6. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of what this Hudson Raider team is in front of them tonight.
3 shutouts in the 4 games that they've actually been on the field for Rice Lake tonight. And they come in just on an absolute tear. John, Hudson comes into this one, a homecoming crowd, but coming in licking their wounds from a trip to Menominee last week.
Well, they were, and they're licking their wounds in the form of one Justin Evans, who put up over 300 yards against them. And, the Menominee-Hudson rivalry is a big rivalry. And I think Hudson thought, going into Menominee, they had a good chance, and they made a good comeback in the fourth quarter, closed it to within 5 after falling down early in the game, 22-3. But it was just too much Justin Evans, particularly late in the fourth quarter. He was unstoppable. And for the 3rd straight year, Hudson loses to Menominee after having beat them seven times in a row. So, and that's one of the characteristics of a team on the road to a championship, is how well you overcome adversity, how you bounce back. Last week is last week, it's over. And you don't have time to sulk about it because you're coming back home, homecoming, big crowd against a team undefeated, ranked, just like Menominee is, destroying opponents. And tonight is your night. You're going to have to reverse the tide.
You talk about the 3 losses in a row, now to Menominee. Entering the game tonight, Hudson has lost 3 in a row to Rice Lake. And, John, we've talked about it in the past, but this Hudson-Rice Lake rivalry has been wildly entertaining the 7 years we've been doing this.
It's been very entertaining. Coming into this season, the Hudson Raiders have had a very, very successful run, 2 back-to-back conference championships and a couple of nice long winning streaks and some deep playoff runs. They have a winning record against everybody in the Big Rivers Conference. Big Rivers Conference, of course, is 8 teams, so 7 other teams. 6 out of the 7 they have a winning record against. The one anomaly to that is the Rice Lake Warriors. They have a losing record against the Rice Lake Warriors. They've lost 3 in a row, dating back to that wild shootout, 56-54, 110 points scored in 2014. Lost to them at home in 2015, and then lost again to them last year up in Rice Lake in 2016. So if you go back and look at Adam Cowell's coaching record, his tenure here is now in his 13th season. I don't believe, and I'd have to double check this, but I was eyeballing this up, I don't believe he's ever lost to the same team 4 consecutive years, okay, that I'm aware of. When he came here in 2005. He's lost 3 consecutive times to different teams, but I don't believe he's lost 4 consecutive times. So the potential is there to lose to Rice Lake for the 4th consecutive time. And, that's one record you would just as soon avoid.
And I'm going to correct you because I'm quickly looking at the first 4 years against Chi-High.
The first 4 against Chi-High.
First 4. It's been a while.
It's been a while, right.
It's been a long while. What an incredible streak, and you start looking at Adam Cowell's tenure here in Hudson, 5-7 in his career against these Rice Lake Warriors. John, one of the things that we saw last week in Menominee, and probably one of those keys tonight for the Raiders to try to get back on track. You mentioned they fell behind 22-3 in the first half. and it wasn't necessarily because they weren't able to move the ball. Hudson rolled up about 400 yards of offense last week against Menominee. They just need to finish drives.
Well, so many key penalties in key situations really limited their ability to score. You can have a lot of yards, but the bottom line is you got to score points. And the first 2 drives that get inside the red zone and only came away with 3 points. And when you're defensively having a hard time struggling against stopping the other team from scoring, when you get inside that red zone, the first 2 drives on the road and you're the underdog, you got to come away with more than 3 points. And it was an uphill battle from there, and they just rode Justin Evans over and over again. But the ability to finish drives and result in points, you got to limit the penalties, limit the turnovers, and just be able to execute in those key opportunities, particularly the third downs.
Last week, as you mentioned, Justin Evans, the featured tailback. Tonight, Hudson's going to have to be aware of a dual threat quarterback. Peyton Buckley is only a junior, folks. He has completed 80% of his passes he's attempted so far this season. Now, granted, Rice Lake has been up by plenty in every game, so they haven't put the ball up too much, but still. Peyton Buckley, 12 of 15. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns. He's run for another 5, John. What kind of defense does Hudson need to employ here tonight?
Well, I think you're going to have to be prepared for everything. And Hudson, defensively, in terms of their defensive pass coverage, I've been very impressed with it. In years past, that's kind of, if the Hudson defense characteristically has had a weakness, is the susceptibility through the air. I think they've done very, very well this year. Constant pressure on the quarterback, win the line of scrimmage. Cole Goodbow, move him around, put him at different positions. He's obviously the leader of this defense, but there's several other good players on this defense as well. They need good linebacker play that starts with middle linebacker Max Reynolds. And, you're just going to have to be shifting things around. I was surprised last week, quite frankly, that Hudson didn't bring more people up in the box. When it was clear Justin Evans, they were just going over and over to him again and running 2 running backs in front of him, and he was going in behind them. So it comes down to defensive adjustments. Defensive coordinator Neil Hatfield is a very, very good defensive coordinator. It's all about adjustments, and it's just about making those key hits and key tackles at key junctures of the game.
As we look at this rivalry, John, over the years, obviously the game that really stands out is the one back in Rice Lake, about 3 years ago now. It was they lit up the scoreboard like a pinball machine that night. Should we expect something similar here tonight on a warm night?
Well, it was 56-54, 110 points of total points scored, just shy of 1,200 yards of total offense, and the bottom line is Hudson lost the game, and that's what you remember most. They had a chance for a game-winning field goal in the closing seconds, and it came up just a little bit short. But you even go back to the year before that, 2013. Rice Lake had the game in hand. A late bad snap on a punt late in the fourth quarter. Hudson was able to capitalize on that, push the game into overtime, and then won it in overtime. That was a very, very exciting game as well, and that kept alive a home winning streak that stretched all the way to the end of 2014. And then even if you go back the year before that, in 2012, Hudson really only had one competitive game in the Big Rivers Conference that year, and that was that game up in Rice Lake. Hudson won 24-14. It was a pretty close game throughout. And then the year before that, Hudson lost in Rice Lake when Rice Lake scored the winning touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go. So a very storied rivalry in the years that we've done this between these two teams.
And two coaches that, they run very similar programs, schematically on the football field, and both do it the right way. And you could see that pregame, John, as Adam Cowles and Dan Hill, the Rice Lake coach, had a very long conversation at midfield. You can tell there is a mutual respect taking place here on the field tonight.
Well, I'm going to give Rice Lake all the credit in the world because they are at a distinct enrollment disadvantage. The Big Rivers Conference is made up of 8 teams. And basically, it's made up of Division I and Division II teams. Hudson's Division I, Eau Claire Memorial Division I, Eau Claire North, Superior. Well, Superior and Chippewa Falls kind of vacillate. They're either a small one or a big two, depending on the playoffs. There's been years they've gone either way. And then you have River Falls and Menominee as solid Division II schools. Rice Lake's a Division III school. They're at an enrollment disadvantage, and they have more than held their own the last 5 years in the Big Rivers Conference. Got all the way to the state championship game in 2014, only to lose to Wisconsin Lutheran down there. tied for the conference championship. They were co-champs with Chippewa Falls. The championship went to Chippewa Falls by virtue of the head-to-head, but tied in the standings, tied for the conference championship in 2015, made the playoffs last year. So they've had a very, very good run, and they're the real thing. They're tough. It's going to take a very good game from Hudson tonight, even though they're home, to pull this game out.
Very warm conditions. Game time temperature as we approach kickoff, 89 degrees. It's the dew point, John. It's making this, I'll say, miserable. And we're just sitting here. We're not even moving, really. Dew point nearly 70 degrees. It is tropical here in Hudson. Hopefully a little more comfortable wherever you are watching from tonight. We're glad to have you along. And, John, how can folks interact with us tonight?
Well, it's very easy to do. If you're watching on HudsonBroadcast.com, you'll see a contact the booth link right below the video screen. You can click on that, let us know who you are, where you're listening from, and who you're cheering for tonight. Love to hear from you. We've had hundreds and hundreds of very nice emails from people all over. Some are watching it locally, some are abroad. Grandparents, parents, former players, alumni, people who just are fans of the Hudson Raiders, or even fans of just high school football in general. We've had very good numbers with this, and this is year number 7 of doing this. Also, our partner, the Rivers Channel, TV 15. We've been running live games this year, and we're still working on some internet situation here in the press box to be able to bring live TV coverage tonight. Hopefully we can, but glad to be partnered with the River Channel. So, yeah, welcome aboard. If this is your first time tuning in, I hope you like what you see. If you're a returning person, we're glad you're returning, and welcome back.
You can see the Hudson Raiders enter the field. They've got a nice inflatable tunnel that they can do that with this year that just kind of adds to the atmosphere. It is homecoming here, so hopefully we've got a lot of Hudson alums tuning back in at whatever college you might be, or if you are post-college, if life is taking you away from the Hudson area. Again, glad to have you along with us tonight. John, I guess we should probably step aside and let the band lead us in the national anthem.
Sounds good. Glad to be here for homecoming. We've got a big crowd on hand tonight.
National anthem will be played. Swing choir is going to sing the national anthem. And at this time, we'd also like to recognize VFW Post 2115, American Legion, Post 50, Color Guard.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who spread stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, they threw us a little curveball, not the band tonight, but the swing choir, and wow, liked that.
Very nice, and it's always it speaks to the pageantry and the environment of high school football. You know, the national anthem, the colors, the band, the sights, the smells, the enthusiasm in this wonderful brand new stadium here in Hudson that's a long time in coming. It's state of the art, top of the line, and glad to be a part of it. And You know, homecoming is very special for former alumni that come back and maybe relive your days here. And I know they have had a nice parade earlier in the week, a dance tomorrow night, activities at school all week long. And, you know, what a great way it would be to cap off homecoming with a big win tonight against an undefeated opponent.
Well, John, as we look at tonight's opponent, as the offense for Hudson is being introduced to this homecoming crowd, what are some of the keys for the Hudson Raiders to have success tonight?
Well, I think key number one, and this really ducktails off last week's shortcomings, is you have to limit penalties. You have to, particularly on drives and drives inside the opponent's territory, whether it's a false start, a hold, a block in the back, illegal man in motion, whatever it is, you have to limit those because you're playing a high-powered opponent tonight. They won last week or a couple weeks ago against Superior 7-0. I think it's going to be very difficult to win a game like that tonight. Number two is turnovers. You can't turn the ball over. That goes without saying. And when the opponent fumbles and create opportunities for interceptions, win the turnover battle. Stop Rice Lake on third down. This is a high-powered offense. You don't outscore your opponent 177-6 and not have some weapons. Particularly be able to stop your opponent on third down. And the rush defense has to be better than it was last week against Menominee. Win the field position game as always. Don't get in a hole early. One of the problems Hudson had last week is early in the game they got down 22-3, and it's all a big uphill climb from them. And limit Rice Lake's big plays, by quantifying what big play is. Plays that are 25 yards or more, whether it's a pass, a big long run, a big punt return, whatever it is, limit those, and I think Hudson can come out of here with a win tonight.
Rice Lake won the toss. They have deferred their decision to the second half. The Raiders, given the choice, elected to take the ball. No shock there, obviously. Rice Lake will be kicking from right to left once we get underway, and they will be backed by a rather strong wind. So along with the warm, humid temperatures, that wind blowing out of the southeast. So from right to left as you watch along a little bit toward the camera location as well. Certainly will be benefiting the team moving right to left here this evening.
Our first email of the night has come in. We want to say hello to Reggie Habas. He's watching from Seattle, Washington, and Reggie says, "Go Warriors." So our first email of the night is from the Rice Lake fan base. We want to welcome everybody aboard wherever you're joining us tonight on this hot, humid Friday night, week number 6, a big-time matchup, homecoming in Hudson. Glad to have you aboard.
Not too much of a stretch to believe that Reggie is somehow related to number 2, Avery Habas, the Warriors' leading receiver, which when you've only thrown the ball about 15 times this year, doesn't take much to be the leading receiver, but he's a good one. 6'3", 190-pound senior. Keep an eye on him if the ball is in the air for the Warriors tonight. They're about to put it in the air to get us underway, and it's a line drive. Kick's going to chase Riley Brown back to the 5. Brown tries to cut to the middle, and he is taken down at the 15-yard line. Coming downfield to make the hit was Kenny Bednarik.
Well, he looked like Chuck Bednarik on that one. A nice hit, and Hudson's not going to start in very good field position on their own 15-yard line. And again, I want to remind our viewers, keep those emails coming in. Love to hear from you. It's very easy to do. Click on the Contact the Booth link below the video screen. You can let us know who you are, where you're listening from, who you're cheering for tonight. And away we go, Joe.
Kaiser Hilterbrand gets the start at quarterback. Max Stubendick, slot receiver right as the handoff goes to Aaron Squires. He squirts through the line, avoids a tackle. He's got a first down, and finally spun out of bounds into the Rice Lake bench at the 36. That's a pickup of 21 yards.
And the Raiders really need a big game out of Aaron Squires. He had a huge monster game in his first game back from a 2-game suspension against Eau Claire North. He had a huge first half, and they didn't use him in the second half. But, you know, he's kind of been hit and miss since. He hasn't had that breakout game yet, and tonight would be a good time to have it.
Spun out of bounds finally by Peyton Buckley, who's also the quarterback on the other side of the ball. They try Squires again to the Raiders, and short gain on the plays out to about the 39, give him 3. 2nd and 7 coming for the Raiders.
Well, the Hudson Raiders, particularly in the second half last week, had a steady diet of going to the air with some pretty good success.
Hardman goes in motion. He takes the handoff on the jet sweep, turns upfield, and is caught by Bednarik, ridden out of bounds at the 42. Another gain of 3 there for Hardman. It'll be 3rd and a manageable 4 for the Raiders. Stubendick back in a place of Hardman as they stack the receivers on the near side. Looking that way, Hilterbrand chased out of a collapsing pocket, dumps one over the middle and has Stubendick. That's a first down into Warrior territory, and Stubendick backs his way inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. Gain of 14 and another Hudson first down.
And what an outstanding run here Max Stubendick has had. They went initially with the quarterback rotation. They've kind of gone away from that in the last couple of games where Kaiser Hilterbrand is taking the lion's share of the snaps. But Max Stubendick at split end has just been outstanding.
Handoff, Squires picks his way through the line and drives down to about the 40. Give him a gain of 4 on the play. John, just a few plays into this one, I'm impressed with the push the offensive line's getting tonight here for Hudson so far.
Absolutely. You know, that we really lost the battle at the line of scrimmage against a very big physical Menominee team last week, and it all starts there. And if you can get that running game going, you're going to be in good shape.
Hardman in motion, they fake. Hilterbrand keeps. He's got a first down. The ball comes out. Warriors pick it up. They're coming back the other way. That's Buckley with it, and Buckley finally dragged down out at his own 46 by Riley Brown.
Well, we talked about the keys to the game, and one of them on the top 5 here is you can't turn the ball over. Hudson Raiders had a nice drive going, a nice mixture of runs and going to the air. Nice quarterback draw that time. It had positive yardage and coughed it up, and now the Warriors got the ball in good starting field position for their first offensive series of the game. Tough break for Hudson, not how you want to start.
Would have been a Hudson first down had he hung on to the football instead. Warriors 1st and 10 from their 46, their first possession. Handoff straight up the middle. This is Sutton, and Sutton pushes the pile out across midfield into Hudson territory, a gain of 5.
Well, this is a high-powered Rice Lake team. We talked about it here in the pregame, and if you missed that, they have outscored their opponents 177-6 in compiling a 5-0 record, a number 6 ranking in the D3 polls on WisconsinSports.net. They're for real. They can move the ball.
Brown in motion. And they'll run the option. Buckley pitches back to Brown. It's on the ground. The Warriors able to jump on it. Back on their side of the 50. It's a loss of 2 on the play. It'll set up 3rd and about 7. Jumping on that loose ball that time. I believe that was Sam Blease, if I've got the last name correct.
You're hearing some of that wind in the microphone here. It's a hot wind, Joe, like you said, coming out of the southeast, and there are even some black clouds on the horizon there. A incredibly, unseasonably hot day here in September in Hudson.
Actually, D'Aris Clervaux on that fumble recovery for the Warriors as he comes in motion. He takes the pitch. Clervaux looking for a hole, and he is taken down. That play stretched out very nicely by the near side quarterback for Hudson, Easton Belland. Gain of 2 sets up 4th and 5.
Well, now it's a question mark for Coach Dan Hill of Rice Lake, and it looks like they are probably going to punt it away. They have moved into Hudson territory in the 49, but fourth and 5, they're going to punt it away. So Hudson dodges the first bullet. Rice Lake is not able to capitalize on the early Hudson turnover.
Last week, Warriors 7 possessions in the first half, 7 touchdowns. So chalk one up on the Hudson side. Blease runs. He wants to run for a first down, and he is going to be taken down behind the line of scrimmage at the midfield stripe, and Hudson's got great starting field position.
Well, sometimes you dodge a bullet, and now you got excellent field position to start with, right on the 50-yard line, just on their own, by the nose of the football, on their own side of the field. Good start for the defense.
Interesting call. Blease listed as a quarterback on the roster, so it flashes through your mind. Perhaps a fake is coming, and indeed it did that time. Hudson prepared for it. Starts in great field position. And even 8 minutes left here in the opening frame. Hilterbrand running out of time, and down he goes. Back at the 46, a loss of 4. Great coverage downfield from Rice Lake.
Well, the Hudson offensive line, and they've had a pretty solid season, but Kaiser Hilterbrand is an excellent quarterback. He shows great poise in the pocket, good field vision, strong arm, but he has to have time, and that time he didn't.
Wants to throw again, rolling, tucking avoids one. A flag comes in, and Hilterbrand is taken down. Maybe a short game, but I think they're going to get Riley Brown for a hold in the backfield, and we'll see whether or not Rice Lake wants to take it.
Well, Joe, I'm going right down my list of keys here, and I see turnovers, penalties. So already we're seeing that, and that does not bode well for Hudson. Probably going to get backed up.
Offense, block in the back, repeat first down.
Well, it'll be repeat second down after the block in the back call against the Raiders.
Yeah, they're going to repeat second down, not first down. You can hear that wind.
And
starting to howl.
10-yard march off from the spot of the foul. This is a big one because that was deep in the backfield. So Hudson backed up to their 29-yard line. It is a second. I'll call it 31.
Second and forever. We got an email coming in. We'll read right after this play.
They fake to Squires, pitch back, and Brown is hit almost immediately and taken down by John Kohler, one of the co-captains from Rice Lake. Short gain. It'll be third and a long way to go.
Good defensive shift that time for Rice Lake. Riley Brown's really the speed back, the complement to the much bigger Aaron Squires, and Riley Brown has had a nice senior campaign here. Unfortunately, didn't get much there. Now third and forever.
Hardman in motion, a bobbled snap, and Hilterbrand in all sorts of trouble. Taken down in the backfield. That was Chris Stadola. A loss of about 5, and it's fourth and a better than third of the field to go.
Well, we've talked so much about the Rice Lake offense as well. We shouldn't. You put up 177 points, but this is a defense that has had 3 shutouts. It's only allowed 6 points all season long. It's a very stout defense, and we're seeing why. Hudson did nothing on that possession.
A punt into the wind, and the wind is going to knock that one down on the Hudson side of the 50, and then it bounces backwards. It was touched, I think, there by a Rice Lake player as Hudson was trying to down it.
The question is, did Hudson down it, and was it considered down before it touched the Rice Lake player? And they're conferring about that now. If it wasn't considered down there, that's a live ball. If it bounces off a Rice Lake player, that's a live ball. But I think they're going to consider it down where it was initially touched.
They do signal first down Warriors, and they are in a great field position here, starting at the Hudson 39-yard line. 6:31 to play, opening quarter, no score.
Dave and Joyce Davis emailing in. They say, Elijah Rude, sorry you are out for the season. We know how bad you want to be out there. That one coming in from Grandpa and Grandma. That was a tough injury, and injuries are part of the game of football. Very unfortunate.
First touching results in a first down, Rice Lake.
Okay, so they did clarify that where the Hudson coverage guy first touched it, it is down.
And they spotted back at that touch, which was at the 36, so the Warriors pick up another 3 yards, that much closer to the Hudson goal line. Coming to motion, Clervaux. They pull it back, running the option. Buckley, he's caught from behind and finally spun down. First one to get to him was Jonah Becken.
Tackled by Cody Sika, along with
During our halftime show, we have some thank yous that we want to get out from the Hudson bench warmers. Ron Dalton sent me some information, and Hudson bench warmers are the booster club that supports the football team. They do such a tremendous job, so many great things behind the scene, making this such a fine program. We want to thank those people. We'll talk more about that at halftime.
Brown in motion, they fake. They look for Bednarik, and that is defended beautifully on the far side. Incomplete. Alec Colander there defensively for Hudson had a better shot than Bednarik did for that one.
We're also going to be getting score updates coming in, some other key games in the Big Rivers Conference play tonight, 3 other games. And my mom is, as she's been for many, many years, the score provider. Will be texting us. We'll pass those scores along to you. It's getting that time in the season. We're jockeying for position in the standings. All games are important.
That handoff went to Sutton, and Sutton powers ahead. Probably got inside the 30 before he was pushed back. They'll spot it at the 29. That's a gain of 4, brings up fourth and a long 3 for the Warriors.
Well, what do you do here, Joe? Dan Hill brought out the punting unit on the first fourth down, 4th and 5, decided to go out for it on a fake. It didn't work. Hudson got good field position coming out of that. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do anything with it. You're kind of in no man's land here. You're not in field goal range. You don't really want to punt. They're going for it. There it is.
Tightly packed formation. Going to motion, trying to draw a flag was a Marques Clervaux.
Okay. Wonder if they're going to do a hard count.
He resets and goes in motion again. Handoff, pulled back. No, it was handed off to Sutton, and John, I think he's short. I think Hudson's going to get this football back.
From my angle here, he didn't get it. He's going to be about, he's a good solid yard short. Nice collapsing, converging defense that time by Hudson. That's what they had the inability to do last week against Menominee and specifically against Justin Evans. But a fine job that time stopping Rice Lake and turning it over on downs.
So each team has had a possession twice. There are no points on the board. We've got 4:56 left to play in the opening quarter. Homecoming night here in Hudson. And John, I think right down below us, we just had an alum surprise mom and dad by showing up at the game here tonight. Kind of fun to see.
Oh, it is. It's kind of a whiteout. A lot of Hudson Raiders, of course, in their blue and white, and a lot of white. And very nice seeing the student section to our left of this wonderful stadium.
Option from Hudson to pitch back, and this is Squires getting the option pitch. Squires off the right side, turns upfield, and is out to close the 35-yard line. Nice pickup on first down for the Raiders. Give him 6, 2nd and 4 coming.
Well, Hudson going back to the primarily a run-based offense after they had some success through the air last week against Menominee, particularly in the second half. And the option pitch to Squires is a little bit different. They've been running that more so to Riley Brown in previous games.
They fake. Hilterbrand on the keep, and he's across the 35 to the 36. A gain of 2. 3rd and about 2 coming for Hudson.
They're running that read option or the quarterback draw with Hilterbrand, and Hilterbrand's a big kid. He's 6'1", and he can really motor, but Rice Lake shut that one down. Big down here.
Handoff, Squires slashes off the right side of the line and just drags a couple would-be tacklers along for a ride and across the sticks. A gain of 3, first down Raiders.
It's all about the spot. Yeah, it's all about the spot there because Rice Lake defensively had a good shift on. But Squires just using some power running was able to power through and pick up that first down.
They fake the handoff. Pitch comes back. Brown to the corner. And again, stepping up to make the hit on him is John Kohler, a short gain. Gain of 1 on the play.
Got our first score update coming in tonight. River Falls, an early upset, 7-0 over Chippewa Falls. That one's in River Falls, just down the street. Eau Claire Memorial, an early 2-0 lead over winless Eau Claire North.
Again, pitch comes to Brown. This time he gets the corner, turns upfield, and is bumped out. Again, it's Kohler on the hit. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 5 Raiders.
Okay, here they've been able to convert some third downs. Still in Hudson territory here. These two teams have had a pretty good defensive battle so far. Neither offense being able to sustain much of a drive. The best drive of the game was Hudson's initial drive, and they ended up turning it over on a fumble.
3rd and 5. Wanting to pass, Hilterbrand gets rid of it quickly. He's got Charlie Pierce over the middle, and Pierce is down at the 45, a pitch and catch of a 10, and another Hudson first down.
And Charlie Pierce was a guy we haven't seen a lot of, 6'1", 170-pound junior wide receiver. And Hudson definitely had some success going to the air against Menominee last week.
When given time,
yes,
Kaiser Hilterbrand can be very accurate. He's had precious little time so far tonight. They fake to Squires. The pitch this time comes back, and trying to turn the corner is Landon Belargin. And Belargin, a nice first down, a carry. Give him 5 on it.
Unfortunately, I see a laundry on the field, a yellow flag over there.
We'll get the call here for you momentarily. Obviously against Hudson as they talk to Rice Lake.
Penalties again, hurting the Hudson Raiders on these key drives.
Holding on the offense. Repeat the down.
Well, this time he didn't want to try to give us the down. He was wrong last time. So
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that.
keep it vague. You'll be right.
I guess.
So after the mark-off, it'll be 1st and 15 for the Raiders back at the midfield stripe. Handoff. Squires tries the left side of the line. Limited access there. Gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and about 13.
You can just see how that penalty takes the wind out of your sails in the drive. You know, they had a nice drive going, completed the pass, converted the first down, and you're just going to have to overcome that. But those penalties just get you every time.
Brown in motion pitch. This is Squires. Squires cuts up field and is tripped up, lands at about the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 7. Does make 3rd down a little more manageable, John. 3rd, we'll call it 6.
You got to wonder if they're in Rice Lake territory, if Adam Cowles, through the years, has a tendency to go for it on 4th down. I mean, we're early in the game, still in the first quarter here, but you got to wonder if you're in 4-down territory.
Pearson Ben Carls, the receivers near side. Rolling that way, Hilterbrand throws quickly and low, and the catch is made at the 30-yard line by a falling Ben Carls. Gain of 10 and another Hudson 1st down.
Well, Carls has had a real nice season. He's 5'10", 180-pound junior, and Hilterbrand has gone to him multiple times, and he's really kind of come into his own, runs a good route, has some pretty good hands. He was able to pull down some passes last week against Menominee over the middle where he just got clobbered, but he was able to maintain possession, which is very hard for a receiver to do. He gets better every game.
Hardman in motion, straight keep from Hilterbrand. He had to avoid a linebacker knifing in that time and ends up getting swallowed up for no gain.
Another score update here. Eau Claire Memorial opening up a lead early against winless Eau Claire North, 9-0. Superior up on Menominee, 8-0. That's homecoming up in Superior. Boy, the Spartans have had a tough opening of the season.
Handoff, Squires runs through a couple, lowers the shoulder, and runs inside the 20 for a Raider 1st down at the 17-yard line, a gain of 13.
Well, there's that Aaron Squires that we saw against Eau Claire North and that we saw time and again last season. And the senior, he missed his first 2 games on suspension. They need a big game out of him tonight in this homecoming matchup, and we're getting it so far.
Pitch, Squires dances and slashes his way inside the 10 to the 9. 2nd and short coming for the Raiders.
Squires is kind of a straight up and down runner. He's a big kid. He does have some speed. He's got pretty good vision, shifts well, and I think they're going to keep feeding to him inside the red zone here, knocking on the door, looking for the first score of the game.
Again, the option pitch. Squires inside the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Raiders.
Well, it's no coincidence to those of you who are Packer fans from another era. Number 5, Paul Horning, always could smell the end zone. You got him inside the 10, and Aaron Squires replicated that. Hudson, 6-0.
Ben Carls is in to attempt the extra point.
9-yard touchdown run from Aaron Squires. Ben Carls will try to tack on the extra point into the wind. Stubendick, the holder, gets it down, and that clangs off the near upright. No good.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but I think that's the first extra point he's missed all season.
I think you are correct.
And he had plenty of leg in it. It was a power kick, and it just hit that upright. And sometimes it hits the upright and goes in anyway, but was not to be that time. And we'll have to see if that comes into play here, but we'll take an early 6-0 lead.
That is your score as the Raiders are on the board first. Just 5.7 seconds remain on the clock here in the opening quarter. The unfortunate part is now you're kicking into the wind.
Into the wind, yep.
But hey, you're not going to turn down points whenever you can get them, especially the team that had only given up 6 points in the 4 games on the field. Raiders hung 6 on them in the first quarter here.
That's correct. They played 5 games. They won 1 by forfeit, so you can't really count that. So in 16 quarters, they've only given up 6 points. Hudson equaled that in 1 quarter.
A very impressive start to this one. If you are a Raiders fan, and we'd love to hear from you if you are. But hey, maybe it's homecoming and everybody's back here in a very packed Raiders stadium.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We get so many nice essays, and it's very easy to do. Click on the Contact the Booth button below the screen, below the video screen on Raider Broadcast on HudsonBroadcast.com, and you can let us know who you are, where you're listening from, who you're cheering for tonight. Any thoughts on the broadcast, the season? A good recipe, I always say. A good joke, keep it clean. Or any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning into Raider football tonight.
Carls punches a line drive down the middle. Bednarik picks it up at the 11, straight up the middle of the field, and he gets bumped down as he crosses the 25-yard line. Sprinting off and happy about that hit was Jacob Sigsworth, who normally sees action on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you know, in Rice Lake, defensively, Hudson's been able to shut Rice Lake's offense down for the most part, and you can see they have weapons. They're a pretty fast team, and only one quarter in the books here, but defensively, Hudson's risen to the occasion.
Start of the third possession for the Warriors. They have yet to register a first down in this ball game. They pull it back away from Sutton and Buckley. He's out across the 35-yard line to the 36. That's a 9-yard gain. That brings us to the close of quarter number one. Your score at the end of one, Hudson 6, Rice Lake nothing.
We're going to take a quick look at the Major League Baseball scoreboard. Those of you following the pennant races and perhaps a Milwaukee Brewer fan or a Minnesota Twins fan, it's getting down to crunch time. And the Brewers dropped a tough one last night at home against Chicago. They're chasing Chicago. Top of the third inning right now. Milwaukee up 3-2 over the Cubs. The Twins on the road against Detroit 4-2. I think the Twins, we talked about this before the game. With their schedule, the way they're playing right now, the inability of the teams behind them to have any sustained winning streak, unless they collapse, and you know that always could happen. But if they play 500 ball from here on out, I think they're in for the second wild card. I really believe that. I think for Milwaukee, they're going to have to win tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday to draw that gap back to 1.5. Golden opportunities lost both last night and the night before with Colorado losing, because they're actually even closer to that second wild card, chasing the Colorado Rockies back by one game. But this last 8, 9, 10 days of the Major League season is going to be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun for sure, and yeah, the Brewers a tough one. The Rockies are just waiting on them. Rockies have dropped 4 in a row, and yeah, the Twins, if they play 500 ball, either the Angels or Texas is going to have to go 7-3 to catch them.
We got an email coming in. We'll answer that here in just a moment.
They've handed off to Sutton. He does have a Warrior first down, first of the night. Gain of 3 for Sutton as the chains will move.
Richard Adelson emails in and he's asked, why isn't the game on TV? They're showing last week's game. Well, I can explain that. The internet in the press box is not working tonight. Therefore, we cannot run live TV, which is very unfortunate. But that is why we're running the web portion of this off a wireless network. Very unexpected, and they're working on it. But that is why it's not live on TV tonight.
They fake it to Sutton, handing off, and with some speed and room to run this time is Darius Clervaux. And he is all the way to the Hudson 40-yard line. That's a gain of 19, another Rice Lake first down, and there's one of those big plays you were talking about, John.
Absolutely, and Clervaux there showed some excellent speed. Very interesting name, Darius Clervaux. He's a 5'10", 160-pound junior. And he came out of there, good blocking by the Warrior offensive line, and a nice first down.
Brown in motion. The handoff goes to Sutton right up the middle, and Sutton elusive as he gets into the second level there and inside the 35. They'll spot it at the 33 for a gain of 7.
That being Brandon Sutton. He's a 5'10", 170-pound senior, one of the multiple weapons in this high-powered Rice Lake Warrior team, averaging 40-plus points per game in their thus undefeated campaign.
2nd and 3 Warriors. They fake to Sutton, hand it off, and Brown. Brown just a punishing run. He's all the way inside the 20. Gain of 15, another first down for the Warriors.
Shades of last week, a la Justin Evans with the Menominee Mustangs, just a power run, and the Hudson defense had several defenders taking hits on him, but he just powered his way. Rice Lake knocking on the door inside the red zone.
10 Warriors, 18-yard line. 17-yard line.
First and 10 from the 17. Clervaux in motion, handoff Sutton. Or was it kept by Buckley? Not sure. They're both down at about the 15-yard line.
Nate Buckley on the carry.
Getting up and limping off the field for Rice Lake. One of the big offensive linemen, Wyatt Olson, a senior. Will take at least one play off.
You know, if you're the Rice Lake Warriors, too, you have not been behind in any game. You know, they've dominated every single game they've been in. And to be down on the road against the Hudson, that's foreign territory.
Buckley keeps. He spun down, and he doesn't. Actually, that was Sutton, and Sutton is in the end zone with a Rice Lake touchdown.
Fooled me, not that that's hard to do, but Brandon Sutton, they bit on that fake there.
I sure did.
So did I. I bit into it like a chocolate chip cookie. And he's into the end zone, and that fooled the Hudson defense. He got in.
14-yard touchdown
fooled
run.
Cameraman Adam Stilson as well.
For Brandon Sutton, we are tied at 6. I was going to mention before that play, John, when Hudson scored, that's the first time this season Rice Lake has been behind. Not surprising when you've only given up 6 points all year.
Right, yeah, when you've only given up 6 points, you don't fall behind very often. Rice Lake going for 2 here.
They run the optional late pitch. It gets to Clervaux, and he will have the corner. He's in. The 2-point conversion is good. Your new score with 9:45 left to play in the second quarter is Rice Lake 8 and Hudson 6.
Well, in 2 evenly matched teams, sometimes the little things, you know, a missed extra point, a 2-point conversion, you know, whatever it may be, and Hudson's lead has vanished. Now they find themselves down by 2.
So we will
working
see how Hudson responds now that they trail for the first time tonight.
How much time is in the game for you? A couple other people we ought to thank on behalf of the bench warmers.
Okay, because we're like in the middle.
Sorry if I get your first name right.
Okay, it's
Isaac Sumanek for cheering the Thursday night football spaghetti dinner.
John initially thought there was going to be a 6-6 game. As they got to Buckley just as he was pitching that ball, a step sooner, and he would have been down in the backfield, but the 2-point conversion good.
And sorry for that moment of silence. They're working on this internet situation in the press box, and that is why we're not on live TV tonight, because the hardline internet here in the press box inexplicably tonight does not work. So very disappointing and very unexpected. We were able to get on the wireless and bring you the web portion, but that is why people had emailed in wondering where the TV was, and that's why.
I think it melted.
It could have. It might have melted. I'm about ready to melt. Lee Livermore checking in. He's watching from Cameron, Wisconsin. Of course, that being right by Rice Lake, class of 66, and a great old Raider himself. Lee, thanks for checking in.
High end-over-end kick, and actually calling for a fair catch, dropping it and then jumping down on it. Kyle Schultz, the big senior offensive lineman, falls on it at the 26-yard line. That's where the Raiders will start first and 10, now trailing for the first time tonight, 8-6.
We got to wonder from a strategy standpoint, they've gotten some good yardage out of Aaron Squires. You know, do you stick with him? Do you do some play action off him and go back to a passing attack that showed some real promise last week against Menominee? We'll have to see.
Squires 10 carries already, 77 yards and a touchdown. Instead, they'll pitch near side. Hardman trying to get to the corner. He's chased down and tripped up in the backfield by Avery Habas.
Well, this was a fast Rice Lake defense. You can see how fast they shifted on those. That option play there, and that option play is only successful if you can run it faster than the defense can react to it there. It's also about seal blocking too, and Rice Lake was definitely up to the task, and that play went nowhere.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Helterbrand,
There it
perfect
is.
so far. Throws deep over the middle, and that is incomplete. Intended for Stubendick. Kohler probably nearest to it.
And Helterbrand has a cannon arm. He definitely can wing it, and pretty accurate. He sailed that one. As Stubendick was well covered anyway, but we'll have to see here now. 3rd and long.
3rd and 10. Helterbrand setting up the screen. It's Squires on the dump over, and he gets hit immediately. A flag comes in behind the play. Squires is short of a first down across the 30, and we'll see what the flag is all about.
And if this is another hold, Adam Cowles is going to be pulling out the little bit of hair he has remaining. And we're waiting here.
Our lead official does a lot of checking on the field before he decides to
see
tell
that.
the rest of us exactly what's going on. I can tell you we got 9:06 left to play in the 2nd quarter. Warriors lead Hudson 8-6.
I think, is it against Rice Lake? Legal man downfield?
That was the indication.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the pass. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Okay, well, there's your answer. Yet another penalty. And Rice Lake smartly declined it and forced Hudson into a 4th and long here, and clearly they're going to punt it away this deep in their own territory. And Coach Cowles has gambled many times on 4th, but he's not going to hear wisely. Hopefully we can get a good punt out of here, as the momentum has definitely swung back to Rice Lake after Hudson had that early lead, 6-0.
2nd punt of the night coming from Ben Carls, this time wind at his back. Good snap, and Carls, a nice spiraling kick, is going to chase the receiver all the way back to his 25, and he is taken down right there. That receiver being John Kohler. Great punt, 45 yards.
Another score update coming in. The Chippewa Falls Cardinals. They're one of those bubble teams, kind of trying to become putting themselves in a position to become playoff eligible. Easy for me to say, right? All knotted up with River Falls, 7-7. Eau Claire Memorial opening up on Eau Claire North, 16-0. After Eau Claire Memorial had a pick 6, and the struggles of the Eau Claire North Huskies continues. Memorial looking to roll tonight and go undefeated, and that's where we're headed next week. Carson Park to take on the most likely undefeated Old Apes.
1st and 10 Warriors from their 24-yard line. And again, I'm not sure who ended up with the ball, John. That's becoming a recurring theme as I watch this game. Buckley kept it that time. He's dropped for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And that's a big part of this Rice Lake offense is speed and deception. You know, who has the ball, and if we're confused up here, the defense is clearly trying to pick their spots, pick their holes. But good linebacker play that time by Hudson, and that went nowhere.
Should mention the other games in the conference. You've heard it's the Battle of Eau Claire tonight. Memorial considered the visitors in Carson Park tonight. The Battle of the Falls. Chip is at River, and then Menominee up in Superior. As the pitch comes near side, Brown with a full head of steam rumbles upfield and will be gang tackled across the 35 at the 36. It's a gain of 12. That is a Warrior first down.
That being Billy Brown, 6 foot, 235-pound halfback for the Warriors. Boy, they have some real weapons here on this offense. You can just tell. And defensively, Hudson, in a hole, only by 2. But this Rice Lake offense, after Hudson defensively was able to shut them down in the lion's share of the first quarter on multiple drives, now starting to move the ball again.
Second man through, it's Brown again, and Brown has another first down run as he's out to the 47, 48-yard line. Another 12-yard gain for Brown.
He is a load, and he can move too. We talked showing up on the roster as 235, 6 foot. If you got some speed behind that, it's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, it is. Back-to-back 12-yard runs from the young man has the Warriors 1st and 10 at their 48. Clervaux in motion, keeping, and now pitching back. It is Clervaux. He gets to the corner, turns upfield, and he's down the sidelines with another first down. into Hudson territory.
Ran out of bounds by number 12, Brad Raffensperger.
Gain of 10 on the play as the chains move. Spotted at the 42-yard line of Hudson.
Well, it's up to these Hudson linebackers here to really close those gaps. Cole Goodbow, we haven't really called his name much tonight. The potential all-state defensive lineman there, and they're running to his side, but they're having success. Now they're going the other side.
Pitch. This is the other Clervaux, Marques. And he's down to about the 37-yard line. Credit him with a 5-yard gain on his first carry tonight.
And a penalty flag potentially in the area of holding on Rice Lake.
And as they talk to Cole Goodbow, yeah, definitely penalty here on Rice Lake.
Well, again, I want to remind our viewers, you can email us up here at the booth. It is a hold on Rice Lake, and I don't know why they're not using their wireless microphones, but here we go.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards, repeat it up.
So a break there for Hudson. But again, remind our viewers, you can email us here up in the booth. Very easy to do. Click on the Contact the Booth link below the video screen here on HudsonBroadcast.com. You can let us know who you are, where you're listening from, who you're cheering for. Happy homecoming to one and all. If you're a Rice Lake Warrior viewer, pretty happy right now as the Warriors have pulled ahead and closely contested game thus far.
1st and 20 for the Warriors after the penalty. They fake the pitch, wanting to pass. The quick slant is complete to Bednarik, then knocked free and fallen on by Asembo. Did he have possession? Did he make the football move?
That's the question. And we don't have replay here. It's going to be a judgment call out there. Well, now wait a minute.
They've marked it at the Hudson 35, and it is Hudson football.
Okay.
Jakes Asembo on the coverage, stripped it and fell on it for the Raiders.
Nice play by Asembo there. Just a little guy, 5'8", 145-pound junior defensive back, and that's what the Raiders needed, is this Rice Lake Warrior offense was really starting to move the ball.
6:37 to play in the second quarter, 8-6 Rice Lake. Turnover battle now even, one on each side.
Well, we'll take it.
They swing it out. This is Stubendick. Stubendick, a nice move, swim move at the 40, earns him a few extra yards, and he's very close to a Hudson first down. They'll mark it just shy. Gain of 9 on the play.
Max Stubendick has recovered nicely from a vicious, unsportsmanlike hit he took in the Superior game and missed the second half, but he was able to bounce back and looks like he's fully recovered. And they're really starting to feature him out of that split end position. They put him in the slot. You know, they run some screens to him, and he, you know, he's got some speed and athleticism, and he's definitely a weapon for this Raider offense.
Well, they moved the chain, so first down for the Raiders. Helterbrand throws over the middle and nearly intercepted by Billy Brown.
And Helterbrand had a couple options there. Stubendick was out in the flat here, possibly waiting for a screen pass, but they went downfield with it, and lucky to get out of that without an interception.
That's one of those they say if it was a spear, he'd be dead.
He'd be dead. I've heard that one before.
Straight keep Helterbrand, and he picks his way off the right side of the line out across the 45. Give him about 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 8 for the Raiders.
You got to convert these third downs. They find themselves consistently in 3rd and longs, going to most likely a passing scenario here. 3 receiver set with a man in motion.
Sigsworth in motion. Helterbrand swings it out for Sigsworth. He's hit almost immediately, and finally taken down there defensively was Kenny Bednarik. Another gain of 2 brings up 4th and 6 and brings the punt unit back on for Hudson.
You know, offensively there, just we're not able to get get a whole lot going. They kind of went away from Aaron Squires a little bit after having success on the ground and started going to the air. We talked about wondering if they were going to go back to that, and did, but defensively, Rice Lake was up to the task and shut them down. Got to punt it away.
High snap, Carls gets it. High kick, the wind will help this one. As it hits inside the 20, takes a right-hand turn, a left-hand turn, and will roll to a stop at about the 14-yard line. 38-yard punt. Backs the Warriors up inside their 15 with 5:14 left to play in the second quarter.
I'm just looking on my phone here for the current temp. It's 7:45 here, and on the 22nd of September, and it is 80. My phone is reading 86 degrees. Wow. That's got to be. If this isn't a record today, it's got to be in the top.
It's
3.
close.
It's got to be close. And I went for a little motorcycle ride late this afternoon after looking at a to-do list of at least 20 things and then deciding to go hop on the motorcycle instead. But it was just plain out hot. I mean, it was just like somebody opened the oven and left the oven on.
Nothing screams fall like heat and humidity. First day of fall, obviously, today.
And what's interesting is in late August and even early September, we were well below average. I mean, we had a streak of probably 10 days
where
we were consistently 5 to 10 degrees below average. And then it just completely spun the other way, and wow. Whew. I'm not a fan of hot weather. I prefer much more the 60-degree day than 90.
Not sure what the delay on the field was there, but we are back with you as the Warriors start 1st and 10 from their 13. Sutton on the handoff, and Sutton is swallowed up. Crosses the 15, give him a couple, maybe 3 on the carry.
Corey Seek on the tackle, coming up from his linebacker spot. He and Max Reynolds, among others.
Gain of 2 on the play, sets up 2nd and 8. Clock on the run, 4:44 and counting to be played in the first half. Both teams with all 3 timeouts.
Got some score updates coming in. I'll pass along after this play.
Handoff, Clervaux to the corner, turns upfield. He's got a Rice Lake first down as he's taken down at the 27, a gain of 12.
We got a couple close games here, and one is going to probably turn into a blowout here. Eau Claire Memorial opening up a 22-0 lead now in Eau Claire North. Still in the first, the Superior Spartans, who've had a tremendous time trying to get any offense going with some key suspensions and whatnot, and maybe they have those guys back. They're up 15-14 on Menominee. That game's still in the first quarter. River Falls taking back the lead over Chippewa Falls, 14-7 over in River Falls.
Wanting to pass, swinging it out near side, and coming back, making a nice adjustment on it is Dieris Clervaux. Jacob Dalton there defensively for Hudson. It's a gain of 20 for the Warriors and a first down.
Jacob Dalton had good coverage that time, but, you know, the ball was where it needed to be, and a nice recovery there by, I got to make sure I say this right, Clervaux?
I'm going with it.
I'm going with, it looks to be correct.
So 1st and 10 now out at the 47. How quickly things change. Clervaux in motion, handoff Sutton. Sutton just refusing to go down is finally spun down at about the Hudson 46-yard line. That's a gain of 7.
Of course, we'll have the halftime homecoming festivities. I know the band's been working real hard on their routine and the radiaires, and great atmosphere. Unfortunately, it's just wish it was about 15 degrees cooler.
Handoff, it's Brown. He's got a first down, and Brown taken down at the 41. That's a gain of 5.
And this Rice Lake offensive line has done a good job opening up those holes. And Brown is using every ounce of that 235 pounds, lowering his shoulders and powering his way to first downs. We'll have to add up the stats here, but he's going to have a pretty good first half running the ball.
Warriors have done a nice job really spreading things around with the tailback and wing backs. They fake this time. Buckley throws. Brown a juggling catch. Gets bumped but not taken down, and finally is at about the 28-yard line. That's a gain of 13. That is another Rice Lake first down. John, they didn't have any the first two drives. Suddenly that is their 10th of the half.
Yeah, and it was a fingertip catch, and he got separation from his defender kind of out in that flat there, you know, beyond the defensive line, but kind of in that zone. And Hudson really didn't have a defender there, and the Warriors are driving again.
Brown in motion. He'll reset as the play is changed from the sideline. Again, Brown in motion. Buckley keeps, follows a blocker. Buckley bounces it to the outside. Dalton finally lost his grip, but held him up long enough to get some help. Buckley is inside the 15 to the 13. That is a gain of 15 and another first down.
And Hudson defensively needs to tackle better. They had multiple hits on him, and it was a good run. He's obviously a very athletic quarterback. Is Hudson going to call a timeout?
Timeout has been taken. I did not see an indication. I believe it was a Hudson timeout. Yep,
Yeah.
they've taken one away from Hudson on the scoreboard. So
And a good timeout here. We only got 2:15 to go in the first half. Hudson already down by 2. Rice Lake in the red zone knocking on the door. And defensively, this Hudson team is going to have to draw the line in the sand. They go down by, Rice Lake punches it in and possibly runs another 2-point conversion. You're looking at potentially going down into the locker room at halftime by 10. That would not bode well. And this is key. There's in every game, every close game, and this clearly is. There's just these key moments. This is one of these key moments. Is the defense going to be able to hold them possibly to a field goal try? You know, maybe hold them to fourth down and they roll the dice and go for it and stop them on downs. They come away with nothing. We'll have to see, but very key next couple plays here. Only 2:15 to go in the first half.
the new quarter has brought out a new Rice Lake offense as they were stymied in the first quarter, and they have run up and down the field here in the second, knocking on the door to try to increase their 8-6 lead. They have it 1st and 10 from the Raider 13-yard line.
In the second quarter, I've got a score update to pass along coming after this.
Handoff Sutton. Sutton off the left side, and not much going on that time. Gain of 1. 2nd and 9 coming. Clock will dip under 2 minutes to play.
And a good spin move right there by Cole Goodbow. He leveraged, was able to break between the line and got in a good tackling position, and credit him on that one.
Wanting to pass toward the corner. Bednarik goes up, and he's got it. Touchdown, Rice Lake. 12-yard connection.
Good.
Buckley to Bednarik.
Just kind of a timing pattern. A meet me at the corner, rainbowed the pass, and was able to get separation just in the left corner of the end zone and leaped up and pulled it down. Good play. That one's hard to defend. The pass was there.
Bednarik at 6'2", working on Jake Sasembo at 5'8", so
yeah, do the math on that one.
the height pays off.
That's a tough matchup for the Raiders.
And they will line up to go for 2, will the Warriors. Kind of spread things out.
They're going to take a timeout.
And a timeout by Rice Lake prior to this 2-point conversion. Folks, we got a minute 41 left to play in the opening half. It is currently 14-6 in favor of Rice Lake.
Score update coming in second quarter, and this one is not relevant to the Big Rivers Conference, but it's relevant statewide. Neenah, who's put together a good season, has an 8-7 lead on the Kimberly Papermakers. Why is this a relevant score? Because Kimberly is nursing a 63-game winning streak. Could that winning streak come to end tonight? We'll have to see. Neenah is a strong team, and Kimberly is strong as well, obviously. But that's I'll keep an eye on that one.
That is interesting. And I think last week, didn't you mention that is currently the longest streak in the nation anywhere for a high school team?
It is. It's the longest streak of any longest active streak of any high school football team in the country.
And it is in a danger right now. Of course, a lot of time left to play there as well.
Right now, if you're a Raider fan, you're much more concerned about stopping this 2-point conversion, keeping that lead at 8 instead of double digits to 10.
Pitch, Clervaux going to try to get to the corner, and he does so easily. And again, the 2-point conversion is good. New score reads Rice Lake 16, Hudson 6 with 1:41 left to play in the first half. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining.
And Joe, that was, I believe, the same play they ran on the first 2-point conversion. Just a basic pitch play, leveraging their speed. Hudson defensively was not fast enough to shift to the left side of the field, and you know these Warriors, they got multiple speed options coming out of that backfield. Not a real complicated play, but executed well. And the Hudson Raiders, after an early 6-0 lead, have now given up 16 consecutive points and find themselves in a hole down by 10. They do have some time to work with, 1:41. They do have 2 timeouts. Even if you can get in a position for a field goal attempt, would be beneficial, because right now Rice Lake is rolling.
Well, interesting in the fact that, you know, typically the wind, as stiff as it is tonight, moving from right to left would favor the team moving that way. All the points have been to the end zone to our right, into the wind. So Hudson had the advantage statistically and on the scoreboard in the first quarter, and Rice Lake paying them back in spades here in the second. They lead it 16-6.
Well, you were very encouraged in the first quarter, the effort and the execution defensively for Hudson, shutting down this high-powered Warrior offense, but they really got going there in the second quarter, and you can see why they put up 177 points here. And now it's Hudson's time to match them point for point or get back into this game.
R.J. Crotto, high-end over-end kick. Ben Carls from the 18 dances at the 25, tries to find a seam, and Carls pushes the pile out close to the 35 before he's turned back. Minute 34 on the clock. Raiders with 2 timeouts and about 65 yards to travel.
Ball to kick in a Major League Baseball scoreboard. It's pennant race time. The Brewers with a 3-2 lead in the top of the 4th over the Cubs. And for Twins fans, including Joe Moore, 6-2 on the road against the Tigers. And the Twins in a very good position. No team behind them has a winning record, and the schedule is in their favor. I think the Twins are going to nab that second wild card.
Hilterbrand swings it out. Charlie Pierce wide open in the 40. Makes a man miss. 45 into Rice Lake territory and runs out of bounds at the Warrior 43-yard line.
Well, the Raiders having some success through the air again. They don't have a whole lot of time to run the ball here. They're going to have to make up some big yardage, work the sidelines. They still do have the two timeouts, but they are now in Rice Lake territory.
21-yard gain on the play. That's the first Hudson first down since the first quarter.
Yeah.
Now 3 receivers right. Squire's the only setback. Pierce the only receiver this side.
Bunched up on the right. They go with the
straight keep, Hilterbrand. And Hilterbrand inside the 40, kind of getting spun around, finally goes down. They'll give him forward progress to the 39. That's a gain of 4.
Well, a decent run there, but that ate up a lot of time, and that's also the play that Hudson coughed up the ball in the first quarter on their opening drive. Rice Lake had 12 men on the field. He did not get off in time.
Flag comes in, the long pass downfield, and it is knocked away, incomplete. A flag did come in, probably a hold on Hudson.
The Rice Lake defender was not off the sideline. They had 12 men on the field in that play.
And Kaiser Hilterbrand trying to get any official to listen to him. He spotted it too.
Well, 1,500 people spotted it. How could the 4 refs not spot it? He was 2 yards away from the sideline.
Now's the time you would like some music to be played that, maybe a little 3 Blind Mice.
3 Stooges.
Of course, there's 5 of them on the field, but.
And in fairness, refereeing is a very, very hard job, and we don't like to be critical of officials.
Repeat the down.
We're going to repeat the down, but an obvious call in a crucial situation was missed.
Instead, it will be 2nd and 16 back at the Warrior 49-yard line. Exactly 1 minute left to play in the half. Late pitch, Squires up the sideline and runs out of bounds. They'll spot it back at the 43. That's the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 10 for Hudson.
Well, now we're under a minute. Still got those 2 timeouts working the sideline here, keeping that clock stop, and the change of moving the chains also stops the clock.
Hilterbrand chased out of the pocket. Throws on the run, has his man first down. It's Ben Carls running across the 25 and finally taken down. A connection of 18 and a Hudson first down.
Well, Ben. We have Ben and Bon. That time was Ben. I could go for a Bon. Is that even a thing anymore? Probably not. Anyway, the clock stopped.
Stubendick in motion toward the near side. They swing it out. Riley Brown turned upfield without the ball. Incomplete. Does stop the clock with 38.7 seconds left. That's just the 3rd incomplete pass tonight from Hilterbrand.
Yeah, and that clearly should have been caught. And Riley Brown has been very solid, and they've ran that play to him with success multiple times this season. But I think he was looking at the defenders. You got to make the catch first before you can advance it.
Stubendick in motion again, but a timeout, taken by Rice Lake, their second. 38.7 seconds remain in the half.
We're going to get some score updates, and as we go to halftime here on this night of Friday football in the state of Wisconsin, also the state of Minnesota. Now, Joe, you had said that some games over in Minnesota were moved because it was so hot.
Yeah, a few of them pushed back, and so that you could get the sunset and hopefully some cooler temperatures tonight. 7 o'clock kickoffs getting pushed back to 7:30 or 8. Some games being scheduled until noon tomorrow, which I don't think tomorrow's going to be a whole lot better. Still going to be warm and humid, but some changes being made on the Minnesota side of the river tonight. Haven't heard anything here on the Wisconsin side, but you know what? Now that the sun is down, things are starting to cool off a little bit.
And we got an email in from Tim Lipke, Rice Lake Athletic Director, and he said the number 2 for Rice Lake is Avery Habas, and it's pronounced Habas. It's not Kenny Bednarik. Thanks for the great broadcast, people feel. Thank you and we will make that change. Tim, thank you very much for that information, and we will make that change here.
2nd and 10. Pass over the middle, caught by Pierce. Charlie Pierce running inside the 5. He's in for a Hudson touchdown. 25-yard connection.
Just what the doctor ordered for this Hudson Raider team going into halftime here. They've cut that 10-point deficit to 4 with the extra point pending. That air attack for Hudson continues to impress, continues to develop. They had to go to it with time being of the essence, and it worked. Pay dirt was struck, and the Hudson Raiders closed the gap.
Ben Carls is on to attempt the extra point for Hudson. He clanged his first one off the right upright. This one is straight through. Folks, we got 33 seconds left to play in the opening half. Your new score is Rice Lake 16, Hudson 13.
I want to say hello to Julian, I don't know if it's Hanak, Brock Peterson and Julian Hanak, 2008 Hudson alumni, tuning in from the Germain Pool and Country Club. They say, go Raiders. Keep those emails coming in. Love to hear from you, whether you're a former player, an alumni, a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us tonight. Shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. And that was an impressive drive, and that's exactly what Hudson needed, is they'd fall down by double digits. And with 33 seconds, you got to wonder, is Rice Lake just going to take a knee? But the way they moved the ball, 3 timeouts, I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Now would be a good time to see one of those touchbacks that Ben Carls has been able to do with increasing consistency as the season goes on. The wind behind him will certainly help.
Got some other score updates coming in. Chippewa Falls and River Falls all knotted up, 14 apiece. They go into halftime. That would be a huge, huge win for River Falls, and the wins have been few and far between for the Wildcats in the last 5 or 6 years. Chippewa Falls kind of down this year. They've been a playoff team the last, 3 years. But they're a little bit down this year. River Falls at home. I think it's homecoming over there, too. Hanging with River Falls. And Neenah holding that 1-point lead over 62 consecutive win Kimberly at half.
Long kickoff, and there's no doubt about that one. That nearly went out the back of the end zone on the fly. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 for Rice Lake. They've got one timeout left, 33 seconds on the clock.
Joe, you got exactly what you wanted, the touchback. Carls has a good leg.
He really does.
He really does.
And it's improved every week.
When he missed that extra point here earlier, which, potentially in this tight game, we'll have to see. Hopefully that doesn't, adversely affect the outcome here. But I think that's the first extra point he's missed all season that I can recall.
I'm in agreement with that. I believe you're right. Handoff right up the middle, and Sutton gets out to across the 30 for a first down. Momentarily stops the clock. Rice Lake going to huddle up and then get to the line quickly, try to take advantage.
Yep. As well they should. They can move the ball. They got the 3 timeouts, too. Excuse me, 2.
Off the left side, it's Sutton again out to about the 35-yard line, gain of 5, and the clock continues to run. Neither team interested in calling a timeout.
Okay, well,
we're under 10 seconds.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be the last play of the half.
Warriors will not run another play. They will take a 16-13 lead into the locker room as we've got another good one brewing here between the Raiders and the Warriors. We have hit halftime on homecoming night in Hudson. However, it is the visitors. Rice Lake leading us 16-13. It's a race to 4 wins to get that postseason eligibility locked down. Rice Lake can do it tonight. Eau Claire Memorial will likely do it tonight. Menominee could do it tonight. Hudson looking for 2 more here over the last 4 weeks of the season. And, now that we're past the halfway point of the season, you can start peeking ahead a little bit and seeing exactly where you might be stacking up here statewide.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, different from Minnesota, you have to become playoff eligible. You have to have 4 wins in the conference out of your 7 conference games. Just some quick Big Rivers Conference scores. Menominee 22-15 over Superior. Chi-High 21-14 over River Falls.
Ben Carls, end-over-end kick, and again a touchback for Hudson. It'll be 1st and 10, Rice Lake from their 20 as we begin half number 2.
Well, the Rice Lake offense, we saw what they can do. Multiple weapons out of that backfield and a very tough defense as well. A defense that's only given up 6 points in 4 games. They're 5-0. One was a win by forfeit on a New Richmond game, non-conference week number 2. And you can hear the wind. That wind has really not died down much, if at all, coming in from the southeast. It's a warm wind.
On first down, the pitch is on the ground. And
that's huge.
Is Hudson football.
Well, the Rice Lake Warriors with a costly turnover deep in their own territory. Not the way the Warriors wanted to start this second half. Nursing a tenuous 3-point lead. Hudson's got all the momentum right now.
1st and goal for the Raiders just 8 seconds into the second half.
I can see the Warriors coaching staff hanging their heads here in the booth to my right. Not how they wanted to start this second half. Raiders got to capitalize here.
Handoff, Squires. Squires is inside the 5 toward the goal line, and he's down just shy of the mark. It'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
Squires is money inside the 10. I go back, that number 5, that was Paul Horning's number, and that was what's said about him. And there he goes.
Handoff, Squires, he's in. 2nd of the night for Aaron, and the Raiders are back on top.
That is a good way to start the second half.
And on a warm night, John, I just got chills. What a way to start the second half for Hudson.
Well, that's how you capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, and it clearly was a mistake for Rice Lake turning the ball over deep in their own territory. Looks like Hudson is not going to go for the two. They're electing to attempt the point after.
Ben Carl's 1 for 2 tonight. This kick is off the left upright. He's hit the right upright, split him, and now hits the left upright.
Oh, and he's upset. You know, he's missed 2 out of 3 this game, and in the previous 5 games, excuse me, I don't think he's missed an extra point. Tough luck. Had good leg on it. He just can kick a ton, but he's hit the 2 different sides of the goalpost, right?
Yeah,
one right, one left.
He's been working right to left tonight. Just 31 seconds into the second half, your new score is Hudson 19, Rice Lake 16. And we mentioned it in the first quarter, we'll mention it again. Coming into tonight, Rice Lake had not trailed in any game this season.
Yeah, and Hudson got out 6-0 lead, and the Warriors came back with back-to-back touchdowns with 2 successful 2-point conversions to go up by 10, 16-6. Hudson closed the gap with a late scoring drive to close the first half. And then with a turnover deep in their own territory, Hudson capitalizes, and now they're up 19-16.
Wind blows the ball off the tee, so Ben Carls will get that reset.
Yeah.
And for as mad as he is about that one, I'm just going to make the call right now. This one's going through the back of the end zone.
This one's going to the moon, huh? And you could just see the frustration. Well, let's see what he does here.
And that one is blasted, and that hit the white through the end zone.
Give him a half a point for hitting the white.
Now that wind, it says it's 11 miles an hour, Jen. That feels about 15 to 20, pretty easy to me.
11's conservative.
Conservative, yeah.
I'm just checking here. Nina's got a halftime lead on Kimberly. Kimberly going with the 62 or 63 game win streak. And Nina's coming into that game 4-1, so it's not as big of an upset as you think, but we'll have to keep an eye on that one. A national record right now for active win streak in high school football.
Handoff and running free. This is Sutton, and Sutton finally ridden out of bounds by Alec Colander, but big gain out to the 38, a gain of 18 for Sutton.
With the talent this Rice Lake team has, particularly in the backfield, whatever comes out of the Big Rivers Conference, they are going to be a force to reckon with in the playoffs in D3. They are loaded.
Ball marked at the 39, 1st and 10 from there. Handoff second man through Clervaux. And he is hit and driven down at the 41-yard line, maybe the 42. Gain of 3 on the play, sets up 2nd and 7. Cody Seek on the stop for Hudson.
Let's see where they're moving Cole Goodbow around. I think he's primarily been over on that on the left side here.
Brown in motion. Handoff Sutton, another big hole right up the middle, finally taken down by Jacob Dalton, but that is a Warrior first down on a gain of 9.
It's Brandon Sutton, good looking back, 5'10", 170-pound senior. Kind of a 3-headed monster here, you alluded to at halftime here with Clervaux, Sutton, and Brown.
Oh, and we got a flag here, John, so that one, don't know what's going on. We'll try to pick it up here for you at some point, and here we go.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, repeat the down.
Well, the Rice Lake Warriors experiencing some of the same penalty trouble that Hudson has had in the first half, and particularly last week. We'll take it.
So instead of a first down at the Hudson 49 after the penalty, it's marked back to the Warrior 35-yard line.
And how would you like to be in that Hudson, what do they call him?
Oh, yeah.
In that suit?
Rowdy Raider.
How would you like to be in the Rowdy Raider suit? It's 90 degrees in the shade, even though it's dark out. Give that person credit, whoever you are. You're showing your school spirit.
You're losing weight tonight.
Yes, you are. I should do that.
They fake to Sutton. Now they want to throw, and it is complete out across midfield. Habus on the catch, and he steps out at the Hudson 45-yard line. That's a pickup of 20, and there is the Rice Lake first down.
And there's that big play we talked about. Hudson they've done a pretty good job of limiting Rice Lake to big plays, and I would consider big plays anything, 20 yards or more, 25 or more. Rice Lake's had a couple, but nice play there. Went to the air, had good separation. Ball was where it needed to be when it needed to be there, and first down into Hudson territory.
Now a stacked I formation. First time we've seen that tonight. Last man through is Clervaux, and he is hit in the backfield and dragged down after a 2-yard gain.
Gained a couple on that. Tackled by Zeke Schwartz and Cody Sika.
Cody Sika and
Schwartz on the tackle.
Cody Sika and Zeke Schwartz in on the tackle there for Hudson.
Ball spotted at the 44 of Hudson, 2nd and 9, Rice Lake. Kind of taking their time getting the plays in up the sideline suddenly.
Heath Lutkins says, let's go Hudson. He's watching from Bangkok, Thailand. Hoping to see Hunter Lutkins, number 26, play. Thank you for watching overseas tonight.
They fake to Sutton. Keeping was Buckley, and he probably should have handed it off. Buckley has dropped for no game. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, here you're pushing Rice Lake into this 3rd and long situation here after they had that big pass completion. 2 tough plays by the Hudson defense, and this is one of the keys to the game, is to be able to stop this high-powered Warrior offense from converting on 3rd downs, as the Get Loud sign is on the video scoreboard here in Hudson.
Goodbow mucked things up. Zeke Schwartz helped finish it off. 3rd and 9. Brown in motion. Fake to Sutton. A pass over the middle is knocked away and nearly intercepted by Jacob Dalton, intended for Habus.
Good coverage that time by Jake Dalton. And I'm guessing, I think Hudson's Rice Lake's going to punt it away. Certainly looks that way, although they did have the one fake in the first half.
Well, and this time they're going to drop Billy Brown back as the punter, as opposed to their backup quarterback, so expect the kick here. Brown pushes it down the middle, a diving catch, and a dangerous one at that is made by Ben Carls.
Yeah, if that one pops loose, Rice Lake had good time coverage on that, and you're deep in your own territory. You don't want to have one bounce off. That's a live ball. But all's well that ends well. Hudson's coming out on offense.
9:06 to play in the 3rd quarter, 19-16, a Hudson advantage.
4th and goal from the 3-yard line. Kimberly goes for it, and Nina stops him on the 3, preserving a 1-point lead.
Handoff goes to Squires. He tries the middle and finds it rough going there. He's out to the 22. Give him 2 on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, Squires had a very good first quarter. Similar to the Oakland North game, he had a very solid first quarter, but they did not feature him much in the second. But then he was featured big time on the score coming off the Rice Lake fumble to open the half.
Brown in motion to the far side, looking that way. Tossed out, and a high pass sails over Stubendick's head, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't have brought that one down. He sailed that high. And Max Stubendick, certainly, he's about my size. Not very big, very talented, very fast, but sailed that one.
Straight drop, setting up the screen, and on all sorts of trouble. Now flipped out. It's caught by Squires. Squires gets ahead as the flag comes in back in the middle of the field. It would be a first down for the Raiders, but we'll see what the flag is.
And you look at what Kaiser Helterbrand did. If you go back in the MSBN archives, everything we've ever done is archived. What Helterbrand did, illegal man downfield.
Second time tonight.
Second time tonight. being able to spin away from defenders and throw across his body and get something on it. He did that late in the game against Menominee last week, and that just shows his talent as a quarterback, his strength. But unfortunately, this is going to come back on a legal man downfield.
Well, this is a crew that has been very deliberate in what they do on the field, and
if deliberate is French for slow, I agree. But you got to get the call right, and they've got most of them right, not all, but it's a tough job refereeing football. I don't care what level it is. You know, I did some umpiring for 12-year-old baseball, and I think I booed off the field a couple times. So it's
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. Repeat third down.
It's a thankless job, and somebody's got to do it. Unfortunately for Hudson, again, a key penalty at a key juncture hurts them, negatively impacts them.
brings up 3rd and 14 as they march it back to the Raider 17-yard line. Brown in motion, Hilterbrand to throw with time, slings it out to the far side, and a little wide of a diving Stubendick incomplete, and that'll bring the Hudson punt unit on, and suddenly the third quarter looking like the first quarter. 1, 2, 3 punt, a nice little waltz.
Yeah, and you know the Warriors stand to get pretty good field position out of this one. They got to see if Carls is going to put some big leg into this one. Send him back. Yes, it is Ben Carls. He needs it. Hudson needs a big-time punt right now.
Just one receiver back. Carl's a wobbly punt. Fair catch is called for and taken. It's bobbled and then fallen on back at the 37-yard line. Boy, avoiding danger was Brandon Sutton for Rice Lake.
And good coverage that time by Hudson, causing him to be, fidgety about that. And the Warriors avert disaster. They already coughed it up deep in their own territory, and that's why they're down by 3. And that would have been the second turnover this half. Also adds some additional yards to Hudson's benefit. They now start on the third 37.
That they do with 8:13 left to play in the third quarter. Raiders.
Brewers and Cubs all knotted up 4 apiece.
Pitch, Clervaux going to try to get to the corner. He's been successful, but this time he is tracked down after a gain of about 3. Jonah Becken on the tackle from the backside.
Clervaux had some pretty good runs in the first quarter, but overall the Raiders have shut him down since. He's got some good moves too.
Yeah, he does.
Good looking back.
2nd and 8 for the Warriors. Brown comes in motion. Option play, and Buckley gets tied up, and down he goes in the backfield. First one to get to him was Becken again.
Well, Jonah Becken has just ratcheted up a notch, and other Hudson defenders in on the party as well. And now it's 3rd and a mile for the Warriors.
Loss of 6 on the play sets up 3rd and 15 for the Warriors.
3rd and 16 for the Warriors.
They've been good throwing the ball. Buckley's been good on his last 5 attempts. He's 5 for 6 tonight. He was hitting on 80% coming into the game, wants to throw, throws it out to the left. Habas just can't come up with it. Trailing in coverage was Asembo. Incomplete pass brings up 4th and 15.
Well, the Warriors most certainly will punt it away here, and Hudson clinging to that 3-point lead, capitalizing on that key Warrior turnover. And that's how Hudson was able to pull out a win 4 years ago, 2013, a key Rice Lake turnover. That was quite late in the game. But pretty good quality high school football game so far.
Line drive punt into the wind. Carls will watch it sail out of bounds. Where will they mark it?
39.
Out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
And they're still coming upfield, and they will mark it And, boy, I've just never seen such a confused officiating crew in my life. They'll eventually set it down at the Hudson 45-yard line.
The 45.
23-yard punt.
Initially, it looks like they were going to mark it at the 39. Well, it looks like the Menominee Mustangs have kicked it into another gear in the third quarter after Superior hung with them early. The Mustangs up 29-15 over the Spartans. It's homecoming up in Superior tonight.
Coming in motion and taking the handoff as Stubendick turns the corner, and Stubendick is into Rice Lake territory. They'll mark him out at the Warrior 48-yard line. That's a gain of 7.
They've ran that play to Stubendick successfully several times here. Stubendick has some good breakaway speed. He's not real big. And again, you know, if you followed right from this Hudson team right from the start, they went to a quarterback rotation between Stubendick and Helterbrand, and they've gone now exclusively to Helterbrand with Stubendick at split end.
They'll run the pitch back. This is Stubendick down the sideline, a first down and more, and finally knocked out into the Hudson bench at the 36, a gain of 11.
Max Stubendick, number 1, starting to find his mojo there. Kind of a little bit of a trick play there. He got the ball on a pitch.
Looked a little ugly at the start.
It did. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Ended well.
Yeah.
We're down to 6.5 left to play here in the third quarter. Hudson driving, leading 19-16. They fake the jet sweep. Helterbrand right up the middle with it, and he dives inside the 30 to the 29 for a gain of 7.
There's that quarterback draw play. They've been, running periodically, getting into their offensive play calling, and that was a good play call that time, and a good, solid gain. I wonder if you play action here and go to the air.
Second and 3, it's Helterbrand, and wow, ran right into Arik Johnson, who couldn't bring him down, and Helterbrand falls ahead for a couple. It'll be 3rd and 1 for Hudson.
You got to remember, very warm evening tonight, like we've been talking about. Both these teams, hopefully they're hydrated. And again, Rice Lake did not dare. There's finally did it. They did it.
Quarterback draw. Helterbrand is swallowed up. He loses yardage on the play, but this should be a 5-yarder against Rice Lake.
For the second time tonight, Rice Lake did not get the men off the field they needed to. They completely missed it the first time.
Defense.
Well, there's 12 men on the field. We'll call it whatever you want, but that was the second time that happened. This time they caught it. Good quick snap that time by Helterbrand that allowed that penalty to take place.
There's really not much to discuss, I wouldn't think.
No.
Here you march at 5 yards from the previous spot, and you move the chains, and you move on.
Well,
is it that hard?
it is 12. Okay, it's 12 men on the field, like whatever. Okay. They get the 5 yards. They completely missed that one the last time. But in fact, they had 13 guys on there because 2 guys were running to beat off. Maybe one just crossed the line. I don't know.
Option comes out. It's gathered in by Squires. Squires banged one, and then it's banged out of bounds by Stadola. Nice gain, however, for the Raiders. Gain of 7 for Squires. That puts him right at 100 yards tonight on 15 carries.
Now it's getting to be Aaron Squires' territory inside the red zone. He was money before.
They fake it. Helterbrand didn't pitch, and he's going to be swallowed up and dropped back at the 20. That's a loss of 5.
Well, Paul Rupert emailing in. He says, shout out to all my teammates from 1992. Said, we beat Rice Lake on homecoming. Gosh, could it be, Joe, that 1992 was 25 years ago?
I
was in college then. U of M.
Helterbrand over the middle, but behind the intended target. Riley Brown across the middle. Billy Brown in the coverage for Rice Lake.
Well, Brown versus Brown there. Now Hudson finds themselves 4th and 8 here. You know, Bon Carlos has definitely got the leg, although he's clunked a couple extra points tonight. The wind is in your favor. Now they're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 7 from the 20. Brown in motion. Helterbrand rather bumped but doesn't go down. Now up the sideline he goes. Oh, and he got tripped up. He is going to be shy of the first down, I believe, where they will spot him.
It's all about where the spot is. It's almost like the play stopped. I didn't know what was going on there.
Looked like he kind of just tripped as he tried to cut back there, and
And the Warriors had good coverage on multiple receivers downfield. So it's all going to be where the spot is, and Helterbrand took it upon him. They're going to measure.
the offense is coming off the field. They don't think they got it.
It's all where the spot is.
And it will be Rice Lake football. Boy, they got down and took a look at that. That
Yeah.
was just a couple chain links away, apparently. And with an even 5 minutes to play in the third quarter, Warriors take over on downs. It'll be 1st and 10 from their 13-yard line.
And you really had two choices here. You clearly weren't going to punt it from there, obviously, but that was within Carl's range. And Hudson sitting on a 3-point lead.
Kind of surprised they didn't try to tack on 3 there myself. With the wind behind you, with the strong leg that Ben Carls has. On 1st down, handoff Clervaux on the counterplay. He's got some room off the left side, and he bangs his way out across the 30 to the 31. That's a gain of 18 and a 1st down.
Well, they bottled up Clervaux pretty good, but he got loose that time, and he's got some outstanding. He's got sprinter speed. He really does, and he showed it that time.
Spotted at the 30, so 1st and 10 from there. They fake to Sutton, pitch it back. And with some room, this is the other Clervaux running back. Marques is out across the 45 to the 47. He picks up 17 yards and another Rice Lake 1st down.
And Marques is a smaller, but not real big. Listed on the roster at 5'6", 135. He's a junior. He's got some speed, too. And the Warriors got a drive going, starting deep in their own territory after Hudson was unable to convert that 4th down.
Pitch. Diarras tries to get to the left corner, and he is met right at the midfield stripe and driven out of bounds. It'll be a gain of 3. Jake Zasembo on the tackle for Hudson.
All right at the 50-yard line, so they haven't driven into Hudson territory yet, but they're close. And you know you figure they started deep in their own territory. They've got a chunky yardage real quick.
Alonzo Madsen off, Nick Becker in his place. And that run to the outside, it goes nowhere. In fact, a small loss on the play. Clervaux again, as he's becoming a workhorse here in the second half here for Rice Lake.
A lot of Gatorade, water on the sidelines. Hot and humid even at 5 minutes to 9 at night.
3rd and 7 Warriors. The Hudson fans stomping their feet. They fake the handoff. Pass deep near side and well overshooting. Clervaux out of the backfield. Jacob Dalton defensively step for step with him. 4th down coming, punt unit coming on.
And the Warriors going to play the field position battle. Still down by 3. At this, right on the 50 is kind of a 4th and 8 though. I think that's the right call. Punt it away.
Ben Carls drops back. He awaits at his 22-yard line. Brown gets a decent punt off, gets it away from Brown, and again sails it out of bounds. And this might take a while for them to figure out where it went out.
You got to figure out where it went out. Coach Adam Cowell's standing right there. Just a fine coaching staff with this Raider team, and the core group has been together for a long time. This is 13 years. It's basically been the same guys.
They'll spot it at the Hudson 29-yard line. That's a 21-yard punt. Raiders 1st and 10 from their 29. 3:10 left to play, quarter number 3. Carls will go wide to the right, and imagine that. Official delay on the field.
What here?
Official timeout, water break.
Water break, okay. Well, we can live with that. That's understandable. And I don't have water, but I do have Orange Crush. I guess that'll suffice. Which is lukewarm by now, by the way.
Well, it's been out of that fridge for a little while.
Yeah, 10 minutes. That's about That's about it.
Gives us some time to maybe check on how our baseball teams are faring.
Yes, and we take a look at the Major League Baseball scoreboard. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. And the Twins just 3 outs away from another win. 6-3 over the Tigers. That one's at the top of the ninth. That one in Detroit. Top of the 6th inning. 4-4 the Brewers and the Cubs in the 6th inning. The Brewers have to have that game to keep pace or to cut the margin. Tough loss last night with and I lost track. They started play, so I'll just be quiet. But anyway, Cubs and Brewers 4-4.
Kenny Hardman on the carry for Hudson. He was banged out of bounds by Billy Brown. Gain of 6 on the play, however. 2nd and 4 for the Raiders. Riley Brown in motion, handoff. Squires right up the middle, and he falls close to a Hudson first down. We'll see where they spot this one. 3rd and about a half a yard here for the Raiders.
Third and 1, big play here.
Straight keep. Hilterbrand just follows his center upfield and falls ahead over the 40. That is a Hudson first down. Hilterbrand, 12 carries out of that quarterback position tonight for Hudson.
Yeah, they've been running that kind of read option and that quarterback draw multiple times.
Here's Squires with some room to run. Cuts it to the outside and will be run out of bounds and thrown down, and there come the flags.
15-yarder.
Well, after they were out of bounds, and it was the quarterback, Peyton Buckley, out of his safety position, that's going to draw that flag on Rice Lake. The play gained 18. We'll tack another 15 onto it.
You know, Squires follows his blocks well. You know, that's what good running backs do. And he's got good speed. He doesn't have sprinter breakaway speed, but good speed. A good solid run. He's got good field vision.
Good ball. Personal foul. Defense. First down. 15.
So by the time they get done marking this one off, it'll be 1st and 10 Raiders from the Rice Lake 26-yard line.
If the Raiders can put up another score, then you're already up by 3. You tack 7 on there. It's a 2-score game. Any way you slice it. 2:38 to go in the 3rd. We know this Rice Lake team can move the ball, but turnovers and penalties have hurt them tonight too.
Brown in motion. Hilterbrand fake to Squires, tried to follow him. He's hit almost immediately. He's able to spin for a couple of yards to the 24. It'll be 2nd and 8.
With 4 minutes left, trying to read this here. Looks like Kimberly is going to pull out the win.
Stubendick on the pitch. He cartwheels down inside the 20. Gain of 5 on the play brings up 3rd and 2 for Hudson.
We're going to get clarification on this Kimberly game, but the big-time losing streak that stretches back to 2013 was in danger.
Squires cuts it back up the middle, and the ball came out late, but forward motion had been long since stopped. And they say it's Rice Lake football. That was as he was getting pushed backwards. I'm not sure that I agree with it, but I'm a homer.
Boy, another. Both of these teams have been hurt by big time. How many? Is it 4 total turnovers? 2 apiece?
2 apiece now. Yep.
Yeah, and Hudson driving potentially to go up 2 scores. Well, that's a tough break. I didn't see it come out. Obviously, they felt it did. No instant replay in high school football. We'll go with the decision, and Rice Lake gets the ball back.
Minute 37 to play in the 3rd quarter. 19-16 Hudson. 1st and 10 from the 21. They faked it to Sutton. Buckley keeps, and Buckley is hit down immediately.
Beckley on the carry.
Taken down by Cade McDonald.
Cade McDonald.
This is the juncture of the game in this heat where conditioning starts to take a role. Which of these two teams is best conditioned going into this fourth quarter?
Good ball lined up right over center this time. They fake the handoff up the middle. It's Clervaux, and Clervaux gains about 3 before he's bounced backwards. It'll be 3rd and long again for Rice Lake.
If Hudson can stop them here, they're going to have to punt fairly deep in their own territory, and Hudson get the ball back. But what a tough break, turning the ball down over, inside the red zone.
And again, Rice Lake taking their time getting the play in from the sideline. Clock winding. We dip under half a minute to play in the third. 3rd and 7 Warriors. Clervaux in motion. And all sorts of flags and illegal procedure will be the call. It's now 3rd and 12, Rice Lake. You mentioned the penalties, the turnovers as being keys to the game, and both teams shooting themselves in the foot consistently here tonight.
And two good teams, really. I mean, Rice Lake undefeated, ranked, and coming in beating their opponents 177-6. Hudson, a very solid team at 3-2. Had a tough loss last week in Menominee and a really close one on the same field in week 2 against Stevens Point, but a very good team as well. But sometimes good teams make mistakes.
Buckley to throw deep down the middle, and a flag comes in.
Interference, defensive interference.
And it was incomplete, intended for Bednarik.
Goodbull got loose, and boy, did he lay a hit on the quarterback.
Alec Colander was there defensively for Hudson. I think they're going to get him on the interference call.
That's going to be an automatic first down. High school is different than the pros. It's a 15-yard mark-off, not at the spot of the foul. But a key penalty. It's going to hurt Hudson. Ooh, penalties and turnovers.
I agree with you. Buckley's going to be feeling that hit. He got rid of it just in time, but he got crushed.
Pass interference, defense, 15 yards, it's first down.
Is that on Colander?
It is.
Most likely, okay.
So that moves the ball out to the 34-yard line, gives Rice Lake a fresh set of downs. 8.7 seconds remain to be played here in the third quarter, so we're likely looking at the last play of the quarter.
Hudson holding on to that tenuous lead. Those 2 missed extra points loom large right now.
Option play near side, just getting rid of it. This is a Marques, a Clervaux, and he's got a nice gain across the 40 to the 42-yard line. A gain of 8, and that brings us, 0.8 of a second left on the clock.
Nice hit by Cody Sicka that time. Coming in for his linebacker spot, laying a lick on there late.
Less than a second left in the third quarter. 2nd and 2.
0.8 of a second, to be exact.
2nd and 2. Handoff to Sutton right up the middle. He's got a Rice Lake first down out to the 46 on a gain of 3, and that does bring us to the close of quarter number 3. Your score, Hudson 19, Rice Lake 16.
Well, here it's all on the line. Hudson's really at the tipping point of this season, and they're going into this fourth quarter with a 3-point lead, playing an undefeated ranked team. Already got 1 loss in conference, 2 losses on the season, and in the road to a championship or a playoff season, there's always a tipping point. I think Hudson is there right now. You take a big step forward with the win, a big step backwards with the loss. I think you can't really tread water right now anymore with an undefeated Eau Claire Memorial team going on the road and playing them next week.
Up to the press box if you lost it.
Well, and it's interesting, you know, we talked about it last week going into Menominee is, you know, we'll find out where Hudson stacks up, how they stack up. And you look at the last month's worth of games for this Rice Lake squad, they had a forfeit and then played arguably the three weakest teams in the conference the first 3 weeks of conference play. And they're probably looking at this game going, okay, here's going to be our truest test of the season right here. So, you know, they're getting punched back this week.
Yeah, and this is anybody's game, and Rice Lake is as good as advertised. They're a good team. There's a reason they're ranked number 6 in Division III poll and undefeated. I would expect nothing less from a Rice Lake Hudson game. We've had some classics through the years, and this one shapes up to be just like that with the final 12 minutes.
Handoff to Sutton. He gets it immediately. Knifing in that time was Bon Carls. Ankle tackle brings him down after a gain of 2.
Tackled by Bon Carls. Bon Carls on the tackle.
These guys got to be getting tired. They're hydrated, and they're most of these are good conditioned young men, but this kind of heat, and it's been a pretty physical game. That Superior game a few weeks ago was
very physical.
Well, it was a physical game. Wow.
Pulled back, the pitch back. Clervaux gets to the corner. A flag comes in, and I believe that one's going to move Rice Lake back. At least if I can correctly judge Adam Cowell's reaction to what he saw. Holding the indication on the field against Rice Lake.
He was supposed to turn on his wireless mic. He did not do that.
Looks like the flag was dropped at the Warrior 48, so this will take them back to their 38-yard line, and when it does, it will be 2nd and 18 for the Warriors from there.
Okay, now he's coming on.
Holding on the offense. Repeat the down.
First, the state-of-the-art stadium has wireless mic capabilities. Very nice, just like the pros, just like the Division I college.
It is nice.
It is. Yep. We always had it at the state tournament, always liked it there, and now we have it here in Hudson.
2 receivers split wide to the right. Slot receiver is Billy Brown. Bednarik outside of him. They fake the handoff. Buckley wants to throw, does gun it, and right through the hands of Habus. Incomplete, and it'll be 3rd and 18.
Assemble in the area, defending the pass.
All right. Well, the ability to stop Rice Lake from converting 3rd downs, particularly 3rd and long, and this is definitely 3rd and long at 3rd and 19. You would think if they stop them here, they're going to have to punt deep in their own territory. This is a big one.
Again, 2 receivers to the right. The fake. Goodbow comes in, long pass, and it is nearly intercepted. Intended for Bednarik. There defensively was Dalton.
Good coverage by Jacob Dalton that time.
Or Alec Colander, rather.
Colander, excuse me. Well, all these defensive backs for Hudson, they've had a good season. You know, there's been years in the past when Hudson's had these very good defenses, but occasionally they've been susceptible through the air, and this collectively this defensive unit, the secondary coverage has been pretty solid.
Brown punts it away, angles it toward the far side, and that will take a Hudson bounce and basically roll to a stop just inside the 40. 22-yard punt, no return. Raiders 1st and 10 from their 40. 11:04 left to play in the 4th, and the Raiders nursing a 19-16 lead.
Taking a quick look at the Major League Baseball scoreboard, it's gone final in Detroit. The Twins win 7-3, getting ever closer to picking up that 2nd wild card spot. The Cubs and Brewers all knotted up the bottom of the 6th at 4 apiece as the National League Central division race heats up.
The magic number is 7 for Minnesota.
Okay.
They faked the handoff. Hilterbrand right up the middle. Boy, got hit by Brown and then bounced off him and fell forward for another couple. Gain of 4 on the play. Sets up 2nd and 6.
Okay. Minute and 4 seconds. Oh, we'll get a score update after this play.
Hilterbrand again on the keep, avoids a couple, cuts it back to the left. He is into Rice Lake territory and finally taken down at the 42-yard line, a gain of 14.
Hilterbrand has probably had his best night running as a quarterback this season. Huge run that time into Rice Lake territory.
Raiders ball on the 42-yard.
In 4 minutes of the game left over in Kimberly, Kimberly has pulled ahead of Neenah 15-8. Eau Claire Memorial, it is final 43-6 over Eau Claire North. They are still undefeated, and the Old Abes await the Hudson Raiders in Carson Park next week.
Old Abes are now postseason eligible as they move to 4-0 in conference play. Rice Lake trying to join them there. Menominee taking care of business up in Superior. That ball knocked away by Stubendick. Sliding over defensively was John Kohler, who nearly had that intercepted. Both quarterbacks have cooled significantly here in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, and I attribute that to very good defensive pass coverage on both of these defensive units.
Hilterbrand wants to throw again. Dumps it over the middle. Stubendick on the run. Cuts back 35. And he is got enough for a first down before he's driven backwards. It's a gain of 16.
Stubendick and Carls. Riley Brown. They've been the 3 targets. Also, too, Charlie Pierce had a real nice catch. We haven't heard a lot from him. But Stubendick is definitely one of the top receiver targets for Hilterbrand.
First and 10 from the 31. Handoff. Hardman turns upfield down inside the 25. Run out of bounds. We'll see where they spot it. They'll spot it right at the 25. A gain of 6 for Hardman.
Chased out of bounds by number 14, Brandon.
And exactly 10 minutes left in this ball game.
Yeah, if Hudson can strike pay dirt here, sitting on a 3-point lead already, but Rice Lake can move the ball. No lead is safe.
Jet sweep, Riley Brown. Brown tries to cut back and cut right back that time into Braden Verbsky. That should be enough for a Hudson first down. They'll spot it at the 20. It's a gain of 5, and the chains move for the Raiders.
All right, we are officially in the red zone.
That carry, that is another Hudson Raider first down.
Pierce splits wide to the left. Stubendick inside of Carl's on the near side. Option, Squires. And Squires is spun down. They'll give him the 15, a gain of 5 on the play.
Well, we saw how he came alive earlier in the game inside the 20. I think we're going to see a steady diet of Aaron Squires, or maybe they fake off to him and do a rollout and try to go in through the air.
Second and 5, handoff. Squires cuts it back. He's inside the 10 and taken down at the 5. A gain of 11. It's first and goal, Raiders.
Aaron Squires, like a turkey on Thanksgiving, smells the end zone. First down, Raiders.
Quickly to the line comes Hudson. Handoff. Squires tries to cut back. He gets caught on the backside but falls ahead. A gain of 2 to the 3. It'll be second and goal from there.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here. Yet another exciting Raider Warrior matchup here on homecoming night in Hudson. Shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Hilterbrand on the keep. Runs out of 1 tackle. Drives ahead. He's in. Touchdown, Raiders. Kaiser Hilterbrand, a 3-yard run.
That was pure strength and athleticism on the part of quarterback Kaiser Hilterbrand, as Rice Lake, the Warrior defense, had several hits on him, and he was able to power it in.
Carl's in to attempt the extra point.
Ben Carl's on to attempt the extra point. He has hit the right upright. He has split the uprights. He has hit the left upright.
All right.
And his kick is up and good. 8:37 left to play in the fourth quarter. Your new score, Hudson 26, Rice Lake 16. And 20 points unanswered now for Hudson in this ball game.
Yeah, after they fell down 16-6. Yeah, that's right, 23 touchdowns. And the Rice Lake Warriors have hurt themselves with penalties and turnovers, similar to how Hudson did last week against Menominee, and the Raiders have capitalized.
They have. The finishing drives that they didn't finish last week,
right.
And getting helped like they gave help last week.
But this game by no means is over. 8:37 to go. Both teams with their full complement of 3 timeouts. And this high-powered Rice Lake offense will get the ball back.
Hudson Raiders travel to Eau Claire Memorial next week. Hudson fans, we need you.
And we have seen Rice Lake over the years, and even tonight, they do have big play capabilities from multiple spots on the field. They've got, the big receivers. Avery Habas at 6'3", Kenny Bednarik at 6'2", line up on the outside, and we've seen Buckley just throw it up and let him go get it.
And multiple speedy options out of the backfield as well.
Kicking into the wind this time is Ben Carls. And he just squibs it right down the middle. Finally picked up at about the 21. It counts free.
Boy, was he hit. Who's got it? I still have yet to see a.
It is going to be Rice Lake football.
Rice Lake ball, okay.
It was scooped up by Marques at Clervaux, but he got hit almost immediately, and that popped right out, but Warriors able to cover it up. They'll start 1st and 10 from their 22-yard line.
It is a final. Kimberly has defeated Dina 15-8. The winning streak, the nation's longest, runs to 62 games for the Papermakers.
Brown in motion. Handoff goes to Sutton up the middle, and Sutton has a first down carry. He picks up 12 out to the 34-yard line.
Rice Lake has to be cognizant of the time. Any way you cut it, they're down by 2 scores. 8:24 to go, work the sideline. There's still plenty of football left. But, if Hudson gets if they score, Hudson gets the ball back and converts some first downs, they can ice it out.
Having to sprint off was Alonzo Madsen. Option pitch comes back. Clervaux. He has a ridden out of bounds by Asembo. But a nice gain out across the 40. They'll spot it at the 41 for a gain of 7.
Getting out of bounds, that does stop the clock. Working the sidelines. 8:08 to go.
12 carries tonight for Diarras. 81 yards.
Good night.
Couple of 2-point conversion runs as well. 2nd and 3 Warriors. Brown in motion, handoff. Sutton is hit and able to fall forward for a gain of about 2.
Tackled by number 13,
Bon Carls coming up from his linebacker spot, putting a good hit on there.
3rd and about 2 for the Warriors.
3rd and a long 1 here for Rice Lake. Clock continuing to run, down to 7:42 to play.
Rice Lake is, I'm surprised they're not in more of a hurry-up offense here.
Sutton the tailback. Brown in motion. Handoff Sutton. And Sutton hit immediately. Loses on the play. John, it's 4th and 3.
Well, you're going to have to go for it. You're in 4-down territory. Down by 10. And an excellent defensive play by Hudson. This Hudson defense got tuned up pretty good in the second quarter by this Warrior offense, but they've had a good second half.
No hesitation to go for it on 4th and 3 under 7 minutes to play. Brown in motion. Handoff. Clervaux on the counter. He is hit and then drives ahead. He has a Rice Lake first down across the 45 to the 48. 7-yard pickup. Gutsy play call.
It was, and I'm surprised they didn't go to Brown on that play, but it worked. You know, Billy Brown, the 235-pound, 6-foot halfback. We haven't seen a lot of him here lately, Brown.
We really haven't.
After some big runs earlier.
Yeah, 4 carries for 44 yards in the first half. Has not had a carry here in the second.
Surprising.
A bus wide right, Bednarik to the near side. Handoff, here's Brown. Big hole up the middle. He rumbles, and Asembo will hang on for dear life and take him down at the Hudson 37. That's a gain of 15 yards.
Hanging on for dear life is completely accurate because Brown's alone. We were just wondering how come they haven't gone to him more, and well, they went to him that time and it worked.
First and 10 from the Raider 36-yard line as the Warriors driving, trying to cut into a 10-point deficit. Brown in motion. Handoff Clervaux. He's down to the 32-yard line. That's a gain of 4. Getting up off the bottom of the pile, Nick Becker and Zeke Schwartz.
Well, dipping under 6 minutes to go. Again, both teams with their full complement of 3 timeouts. The Warriors got something going here.
Wanting to throw, Buckley swings it out and off the hands that time. Incomplete. That's 5 straight incompletions. Buckley just 1 for 6 throwing this second half.
Yeah, the success they've had has definitely been on the ground in the second half. Now they find themselves in 3rd and 5 here in 4-down territory.
Incomplete pass does stop the clock at 5:32, but yeah, certainly clock becoming a factor in this game. Brown in motion. They hand it off to Sutton up the middle. He is taken down inside the 30. They'll spot it just shy of the 28. It'll be 4th and 2, Rice Lake.
Well, Rice Lake converted the last fourth down. They're going to have to do it again. The Hudson defense stops them here on this 4th down. It's looking real pretty with the Sutton with the 10-point lead. See if this big Hudson homecoming crowd can come to life here, cheering on this defense. They have shut the Warriors down in the second half. This team averaging 40-plus points per game coming in.
Handoff, Brown. He has stood up right at the sticks before he's driven back. Oh, and this is a left foot, right foot scenario, John.
It's all where the spot is. It's all where it was determined that forward progress was stopped relative to the chain, relative to the marker.
Brad Raffensberger thinks Hudson stopped him. He was ready to sprint off the field.
It just all comes down to the spot.
Obviously, you got to measure. You can stand there and look at it all you want.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you got to bring. That's what the chains are there for. They're going to measure it. Biggest measurement of the year so far for the Rice Lake Warriors. A pretty big one for the Hudson Raiders too.
And it is Hudson football. They take over on downs with 4:52 left to play.
Well, they say baseball is a game of inches, but football is a game of inches sometimes too. And that time it was in the favor of the Hudson Raiders as they stopped Rice Lake on 4th and short. The last time Rice Lake went for it on 4th and short and got it, the second time was not to be. Big stop, huge stop.
As John mentioned, both teams with all 3 timeouts, so it'll be interesting to see how Dan Hill elects to use them here for Rice Lake. They need it. They need the ball back not once but twice, trailing by 10.
Yeah, that was huge. Now it's up to the offense to convert some first downs, milk some clock, and run this one out.
Squires off the left side. He's across the 30, out to the 32-yard line. That's a gain of 5.
Very solid night for Squires, now up over 100 yards. And Hudson usually is very quick to the line of scrimmage. There's no reason to now. Run the clock. The clock is the friend of the Raiders and the enemy of the Warriors right now.
2nd and 5, same play, Squires. And he falls ahead across the 40.
Gave about 4 on that.
Be just shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard for Hudson. And an opportunity to milk more clock. And breaking free, that's a first down run and into Rice Lake territory. It's Helterbrand who gets up a little gimpy.
Oh, not liking what I'm seeing there. He might have turned an ankle on that play, but he has had a tremendous night running the football. I wonder if he's got to come out.
Gain of 9 for Helterbrand. He thought about coming to the sideline, but he's just going to get the play. Adam Cowles may milk the clock and take a timeout to help his quarterback here.
Yeah, I wonder. They got 3 to use. No, they're going to go. Well, no, wait a minute. Yep.
Handoff, Squires, ooh, and he gets hit, spins away from it. Squires fights his way down to the 43-yard line, a gain of 6.
And that type of run is what the Hudson Raiders were missing in game 2, trying to run out a lead, a slim 1-point lead against Stevens Point. Aaron Squires was not available for that game, and that's what you got to do, and that's huge.
We're under 3 minutes. On 2nd and 4, and movement on the line. Hudson's going to get a fresh set of downs. Encroachment on the defense. We'll take the ball down to the 38-yard line.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense. Result is a first down.
2:52 left on the clock. Hudson 1st and 10 from the Rice Lake 38.
Yeah, Rice Lake has really hurt themselves with some key penalties and key turnovers. They're seeing an undefeated season, a 5-0 start. Fall by the wayside, courtesy of the Hudson Raiders right now.
Hardman in motion, handoff Squires up the middle, and he was tripped up, fell awkwardly forward, and he's actually a little slow getting up here.
Oh, shoot. No, he's going to have to come off. Well, we need Aaron Squires next week against Eau Claire Memorial.
Gain of 5 on the play for Squires as he comes off. That right ankle bothering him. And the first timeout taken by Rice Lake stops the clock with 2:23 left to play in this ballgame. Hudson leading 26-16.
Of course, I have a standing call-in at WCCO at 9:40. And I'm not sure this game's going to be over by then. We're going to cut it close, but something I've been doing for quite a few years. 830 WCCO with Steve Thompson, the Friday football final, and we've had a standing Hudson game report call-in. We've been 9:40 the last probably, 3 years now.
I've never felt a high school football game go this long in my life. There were plenty of delays on the field tonight.
Yeah, there was, and it was some turnovers and just penalties that slowed it down, and a longer halftime show as there should be for homecoming. And yeah, we're 9:30. It's 2.5 hours. That's long for a high school football game.
2nd and 5, Hardman in motion. It's Jacob Sigsworth, the tailback. He takes the handoff, hit immediately on the left side. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and 5 and timeout number 2 called by Rice Lake. Stops the clock with 2:15 left.
Well, the Chippewa Falls Cardinals are still in that playoff eligibility conversation. Pulled out a 21-14 win tonight over in River Falls. The Wildcats still have not put one up on the win board this year, as has Eau Claire North. One of those two teams is going to get a win when they play each other here. It might be next week, but Chippewa Falls Cardinals with that win improved to 3-3 on the season.
And that moves the Cardinals to 2-2 in the conference.
Right. They're going to be one of those, I mean, this is more of a basketball term, but one of those bubble teams,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Chippewa Falls comes to Hudson for the last regular season home game here in 2017.
3rd and 5 for the Raiders. Sigsworth the tailback as they continue to look at Aaron Squires and his right ankle, and we've got a flag, and again, it's going to be encroachment on the defense. This will be very close to a Hudson first down, and
the celebration of homecoming is starting over here in the whited out Hudson Raider student section. Nice, very nice attendance tonight. Rice Lake brought a nice contingent of fans.
that is enough for a Hudson first down.
First down, Hudson Raiders.
Beautiful new stadium. You know, and Pug Lunt Field up in Rice Lake is a beautiful stadium too. They redid it a few years ago, and tremendous job. And we play some very nice venues in this Big Rivers Conference.
Hardman in motion. He takes the handoff, cuts it back up into the middle of the field,
Got to stay in bounds.
and
Kenny Hartman on
runs
the
along the 25 before he's pushed backwards.
by number 80, Brandon Peterson.
You know, in looking ahead, Hudson is going to pull out a win here. It's going to give Rice Lake one loss. Hudson will sit with one loss. Eau Claire Memorial's undefeated, as is Menominee. They'll play each other later. But really what needs to happen if Hudson wants to be in the conference title picture is we need to go to Eau Claire Memorial on the road, beat them, and then Rice Lake plays Menominee at home next week. If Rice Lake can knock off Menominee, we knock off Eau Claire Memorial. With 2 weeks to go, you'll have a four-way tie for first with 4 teams with one loss.
Hartman on the carry, ran out of bounds.
Rice Lake thought they had the ball there. They ran Hardman out of bounds. And it looks like they are going to say that is a Rice Lake recovery. They stripped it out from Hardman, and the Warriors get the ball here with 1:22 left to play. 3rd turnover of the night on Hudson.
You know, not the way you want to end this game. 3 turnovers is too many.
Rice Lake had possession of the ball. There was an inadvertent whistle. It'll be first down, Rice Lake. Going that way.
Okay, well, okay,
Going north.
I guess. Rice Lake hails from the north. Member of the Heart of the North Conference for many, many years. Came into the Big Rivers back in the late 80s. More than held their own in recent years.
Buckley rolling out, and he is caught from behind and taken down by Cole Goodbow. Back at the 15, a loss of 8 on the play.
And that is what Cole Goodbow is capable of. He is a real talent. He's got the size, he's got the speed, and he is probably one of the guys out there that is potentially capable of playing at the next level.
3rd and final timeout taken by Rice Lake. Stops the clock with 1:11. John, go ahead and continue that thought. I cut you off.
Actually, at the beginning of last year, in talking to Neil Hatfield, and we got, I had a nice conversation. It was a fundraiser for Dan Lockney, former Raider, that was experiencing some health problems. We just got talking, and it was before the start of the season, and he said, Cole Goodbow has the potential. His quote was, if I recall, Goodbow could play for money, which means the potential is there for him, to go on to the next level of college and potentially. And that's a big statement, and that's a huge step up. But that's what Neil Hatfield did say.
Credit him with the sack. I don't have sack totals on the year, but we have seen him in the quarterback's face on more than one occasion this year. On more than one occasion tonight, although he's finally credited with a sack on this pass play. 2nd and 18, Warriors. They fake the handoff, throw deep down the far side, and that is incomplete. And it'll be 3rd and 18 with 1:06 left to play.
And my 9:40 call-in of our WCCO is getting very much in jeopardy. So
perhaps he can broadcast it live for us and take this one home.
So if Steve or the engineer from WCCO is listening in, you might have to wait just a couple minutes past 9:40 to give me a call.
Fans are stomping their feet. Buckley, pocket collapsing, and he's unable to run out of it. Taken down back at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 18. Rice Lake unable to stop the clock.
Alonzo Madsen on the sack.
Rolling Buckley in all sorts of trouble, runs away from it. Now runs upfield, avoids one, and then is pushed out of bounds from behind, well short of the first down. Zeke Schwartz made sure of that. Hudson takes over on downs, and they just have to kneel on this ball. Maybe twice.
And they're going to go into the best offensive formation that has ever been drawn up, the victory formation, where you just take the knee and take the W.
There is a bunch of happy homecoming folks here in Hudson tonight.
Big, big win for this Hudson program. And, you know, Rice Lake came in flying high, 5-0, 177-6. Rice Lake has beaten Hudson the last 3 years. 2014, 56-54, and a wild shootout up in Rice Lake, and then came down here in 2015 and beat Hudson at homecoming that year, and then lost up in Rice Lake again last year.
So they avoid the four-game losing streak.
Four-game losing. We talked about that, and I did not think any team had beaten during Adam Cowell's run here, what Chippewa Falls did during the very early years, so it's been very, very rare. But Hudson stops the losing streak to Rice Lake at 3.
Hudson, a homecoming victory tonight. They defeat the previously unbeaten and 6th-ranked Rice Lake Warriors by a final score of 26-16 this evening. The defense pitches a second-half shutout. The offense does enough to get it done tonight. Just an all-around good team victory for the Raiders tonight.
A signature win in this 2017 campaign, and the undefeated and ranked Eau Claire Memorial Old Abe's are waiting in the wings next week.
That game will be at Carson Park in Eau Claire. Rice Lake going to go home much like Hudson did this past week. They go home after a road a loss, licking their wounds, and does not get easier for the Warriors as the Menominee Mustangs will be in Puglund Field next Friday night. That should be a doozy. The game in Carson Park should be a good one as well.
Well, yeah, and again, you know, it's a lot of things could happen. There's plenty of football to go, but we're definitely getting in the time of the season where conference races and potential playoff eligibility and playoff seeds are topics of conversation, if nothing else. And what Hudson needs to do is go take care of business on the road next week against Memorial, and then have Rice Lake beat Menominee in Rice Lake next week. And I think they can do it. We'll see.
Definitely that possibility exists. Hudson climbs one victory closer to securing a postseason berth. They just need to pick up one more victory here in the final 3 weeks of the season to get to that magic number 4. As they improve to 3-1 in conference play, they are now 4-2 overall. Again, the loss, the first of the season for Rice Lake, now 3-1 in the conference and 5-1 overall.
And there is WCCO calling me, and I'm going to have to step aside and take the call.
And with that, there goes John Wecken. My name is Joe Moore. We will cut things short here tonight. We will be back with you next Friday night from Carson Park. It'll be the Hudson Raiders taking on the first place undefeated and 6th-ranked Eau Claire Memorial Old Abe's. Folks, we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. Again, it's a happy homecoming here in Hudson as the Raiders defeat Rice Lake by a final score of 26-16. Now for John Wecken, my name is Joe Moore. Good night, everybody.
Yo,